Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Wait till a few you pop in here. Give my quick opinion on this, man. I see that Joyce and Daniel Dubois was ordered to fight for the vacant British heavyweight title. So he also is the mandatory for the EBU title that Agit Kabayel holds. So right now, Joe Joyce is in a good position off of his win over Bermain Stavern, man. So we'll see what you guys think, and we're gonna chop it up as you guys come in about it. Get my opinion. Want to hear your opinion right now? I'm watching this Holyfield versus Moore, the first fight. Probably seen this fight, man, about 10 times, but watching this one, I'll probably I'm gonna watch the rematch after it. But was good. Tone Bangers, AZ, Demetrius Cowan was good, man. Who would y'all like? Right now, Joe Joyce is in a good position, and don't forget that not, also he's is the mandatory for the EBU title that Kabayel holds, and he just him and Dubois just got ordered for the vacant British heavyweight title. Remember, he was also calling out, and he was saying that he will fight Luis Ortiz as well. So he's in a good position right now, man. It's gonna come down to who he decides. All right. Me, I would say the Dubois fight because Joyce is come forward. Now, you guys have heard me say that I want to see Dubois fight Nathan Gorman. I would still like to see that fight, but the Joyce fight, just based on their styles, man. Just because I know what Joyce is coming to do. He's coming in there to come forward and try to huff and puff and blow the house down. All right, that's the type of style he fights in. Um, and we know what Dubois likes to try to do. He tries to knock your fucking head off. You know what I mean? Very powerful young kid. Let me turn this down a little bit. I don't get no damn copyright. Michael Moore enters the ring. I have to hear Teddy Atlas mouth in this fight, man. They gave him a lot of credit, like he won the damn title that night. But he did, was trying to use his motivational tactics with Moore. I heard Moore after this, he kind of downplayed Teddy Atlas. I think Moore was kind of pissed off that they were giving Teddy Atlas all the credit, man, for this fight against Holyfield. Cup man, Moore must have been pissed off, man, because they give Teddy Atlas pretty much all the credit for motivating Moore, and then couple that with Evander Holyfield saying his shoulder, or that's one thing about the real deal, and I respect Evander, man, one of the best fighters I've ever seen, man, but whenever he would lose a fight, it was always like his heart or his arm was hurt, or it was always something like the third Riddick Bowe fight. It was something about and then he dropped Bowe in that fight, and Bowe wasn't the Bowe he used to be in that third fight. It's like every time Evander lost, man, early in his career, it was always about his heart or his arm or his leg, or it was always something, man. Like the dude's a warrior. He went in there, he lost to the better guy that night. You dig what I'm saying? And Sister Your Rage was good. But yeah, I'm gonna get to you guys' comments in a second, man. But I'm just gonna give what I think first. I think I would like the Dubois fight, and just have it in the UK. You know what I mean? I think people support it. Shit, I want to watch that motherfucker too, man. So I think that'd be a good fight style wise. You dig what I'm saying? Um, I think the EBU title, in my opinion, is a little bit more meaningful than the British heavyweight title. Maybe some of the UK fans may disagree, or have their reasons or whatever. But Joyce is in a good position, man. So what I expect him to do, unless these guys, for whatever reason, don't want to fight him or whatever it is, if all these guys are willing to fight him, what I don't want to see is Joe Joyce versus a journeyman next. Unless they have a fight scheduled, I'm just throwing out. Well, as of right now, Daniel Dubois has a fight with Richard Larte. What's that? April 27th. He's fighting Richard Larte, the guy from Ghana, the heavyweight from Ghana. So I know he has that coming up. So if Joe Joyce, took a little, I hate saying, but like a tune-up fight, or as UK fans say, a tick over, but a journeyman type of guy, just to get him a fight in and stay active, okay, fine. But if he says I don't want to fight Kabayel, or I don't want that fight, or I don't want the fight against Dubois, or I don't want the fight against Ortiz and all these other guys, and he just goes straight journeyman and that's it, be very disappointed, man. Now I did hear Abel Sanchez say that he wasn't ready. You know what I mean? That was a while ago. I haven't heard another interview from Sanchez regarding what he said prior, but the last time I heard him talk, he was saying he's not ready for the top guys, you know. But Joyce, the way he speaks, he's talking like he's ready now. So let me see what y'all think about this. It's not gonna be long at all, man. What's good? Tone Bangers. He says Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois is more fan friendly. I agree. Uh, Demetrius Collins says I want Joe to get in there with King Kong. I like to see that one too, because they've been going back and forth. I know Joyce said that he'll fight him, but then because they've been talking shit, or he been talking shit about Ortiz for a while, man. So I wouldn't mind seeing that one either. AZ says I'd rather see Dubois versus Gorman first and Ortiz versus Joyce at the end of the year. I wouldn't I wouldn't mind any of that either. Uh, Triple H 1200 says who pulls out, Dubois or Yard? Yeah, I seen a couple brothers make video about Yard. Was he trying to what he ordered to fight Kovalev? Dubois don't seem like the type that'll pull out of a fight. I mean, he's still a young kid, or he's still a youngin, and this would be his toughest test yet if he were to go in there and fight Joe Joyce. But I don't think the kid will pull out though. You think he will? Tone Banger says his team already admitted to not wanting smoke with Ortiz. Yeah, that's when I heard Abel said he's not ready for those guys. You dig what I'm saying? Steen Crow says Joyce would beat Triple D right now. What makes you think that, Steen Crow? Was he just like the style? You think his pressure? You think um although Dubois has more professional fights, Joe Joyce is the more experienced fighter. He has what, like 11 or 12 years on Dubois. He went to the Olympics, got the silver. Um, a lengthy amateur career, has tons and tons and hundreds of rounds with a lot of different heavyweights. You dig what I'm saying? So he has a lot more experience than Dubois. Do you think it's just the experience? You think it's style? You think it's both? Steen Crow says Yardy is a light heavyweight. Yeah, I think he was just. I think who I left that comment. I think Triple H 1200 was just referring to him as who will pull out a fight. But yeah, he is a light heavy. Um, Az says Joyce stamina is unreal. He will probably eat up. He will probably eat Areola up. And Sister Ray says yes. And Sister Ray says this is going to be a good fight. Triple H 1200 says they did find a hole in Holyfield's heart. Yeah, Evander actually came here to Minnesota. He actually went to the Mayo Clinic. It's like one of the top hospitals, shit in the world. But yeah, he was here. But what I'm saying though, bro, is like every time he lost a fight though, bro, it was always just something was ailing him, or and then just the commentary was so damn dramatic, man. Because I know in that bow fight, the third bow fight, George Foreman looked like he wanted to get on the damn Big George, who's one of my three favorite fighters of all time. During his commentary, man, for the third bow fight, it seemed like he wanted to get on the apron and stop the fight himself. And then Holyfield had a moment where he dropped with a clean him, dropped him clean. You know what I'm saying? But Riddick was just a better fighter that night. Or she was a better fighter 2 out of 3 times against Evander. Let me see here. AZ says more first Southpaw heavyweight champion ever. Yep, and then guys like Charles Martin, um, heavyweight champion, title holder, and Ruslan Chagayev. And is that it? Chagayev, Martin, Michael Moore. October 4th, what's up, man? He says, I like the idea of all these top prospects mixing it up, but the boxing industry and the fans need to be more favoring or forgiving on L's. Otherwise, nobody wants to risk an L until they fight for a title. And that's why I like that matchup that Dillian White and Anthony Joshua had. And I was praising that matchup when it got made. Because I was like, man, usually guys like this, they stray away from each other. You know what I mean? They want to play to, like you said, rack up as many wins as possible. Probably take a fight where it's probably not 50-50 on paper, but it's probably a 70-30, 65-35 ish type of fight where they're favored, but uh, fans and pundits may think that they have a chance to, be pushed in that fight. They may take one of those, you know what I mean? But like I said about Dillian White, man, or anybody in that position, look at Hunter. You know what I mean? Hunter fought Usyk. He tried to go in there, and go for the title and try to win. He didn't, and shit. Look at him now, man. He was able to beat Houston off. Was able to beat Martin Bacolia Lunga. So it's up to you. It's up to you how you bounce back from those things, man. If you're as good as you say you are, and your people think you're as good as they think you are, you should be able to bounce back. Because to me, it's like if you get in there with another undefeated prospect and then you lose, and that prospect may go on to do great things in his career. He may be one of the all-time greats or one of the greats of this era or generation. Uh, to me, it's like you're not what you were cracked up to be if another fellow prospect ends your run or ends your career. You dig what I'm saying? World Breaker Fighting was good, brother. Was good, man. AZ says Joyce is fighting like a machine programmed to throw 100 punches around. Yes, he does go in there and give a good work rate. You know what I mean? But one thing I learned about all pressure fighters that want to throw hundreds of punches and this and that and the third, one thing that stops that is some good movement, and hitting them back and backing them up and trying to find a way to back them up. Try to find a way to you know what I mean, to back them up, give different movements, different type of angles and shit, punching them back in their face. Now, they're going to get punched in the face, but what I mean though, what I'm saying with that is putting some hurt on them. How do they react? Are they going to still be the come forward, I'm going to just eat punches and to give punches? Or, you know what I mean, will they try to switch it up? Let me see. Neutral, natural. Okay. Main event. Mark says Joyce is going to get smashed. Um, CB Sports TV says I give the edge to Joyce over Dubois right now. Okay, I see a few people saying this, man. What y'all give him the edge on? Just his experience. And I know for some of you, you're going to say, but he only has 7 fights and Dubois has 10. But his experience goes back to the amateurs, man. He had a lengthy amateur career, and he has like 11. I forget their ages exactly, but I think he has like 11 years on Dubois. So y'all think it's the experience? I'll get down to the comments in a second. Um, World Breaker Fighting says Schwartz versus Fury. Shaking my head. Yeah, that shit caught me off guard. World Breaker. I did I don't know if you caught my live stream from earlier, man, but I broke the styles down because I know who Tom Schwartz is. You know what I mean? But I broke the styles down. But regardless of the actual fight and styles and all that, yes, the shit caught me off guard. I think a guy like Tom Schwartz should be fighting Junior Fa, Tyrone Spong, uh, shit, somebody like that, man. Not a Tyson Fury. Not a Tyson Fury. Otto Wallen, somebody like that. Somebody like that, man. Agit Kabayel. You know what I mean? Not no damn Tyson Fury, man. Um, October 4th says, I do think Joyce needs a few more build-up fights before he is ready for the top heavyweights. He is still very stiff and needs to work his hand speed and fluid punching. He doesn't look natural yet. To me, October 4th, even when I go back to his fights in the World Series of Boxing, when I seen them in the Olympics, and I know some fans tell me no, but he can fight off his back for a little bit. I seen him fight in this fight or in this tournament. To me, his bread and butter is come forward, high guard. I think he is who he is at this point. Either he's going to excel at what he's doing right now, or he's not. I just think he is who he is. Now, can you tweak something, especially at 33 years old? That's not a death sentence, you know what I mean? But I think he's 34, 33. But I don't think it's a death sentence. I think at this stage with him, somebody can possibly come in and tweak a few things, polish some things that he's already good at, see if he can get great at it. But as far as his just, and this is the old saying in boxing, once a person gets hit in the mouth, they usually revert back to who they are. And I think that's who he is. I just think he's this come forward slugger, brawler, wants to throw thudding punches. You dig what I'm saying? I just think he is who he is. Um, my thing with him is just try to be in the best possible condition he can be in. And just because you are who you are, that doesn't mean that you go into training camp not working on head movement or not working on pivoting and the basics. You know what I mean? But I just think he is who he is at this point, man. Whether he has another five build up fights or if he fights a top heavyweight right now, I think just that's just my opinion. I think just he is who he is at this point. Tone Banger says Joe Joyce versus Charles Martin would be interesting. Yeah, it would be. It would be. And in that fight, because Martin proved to me that he can handle Konowski's pressure fighting, and I think that Konowski is shit. He, you could probably argue that he's a better pressure fighter than Joe Joyce. To me, Joe Joyce is a pressure fighter, come forward headhunter, and Konowski is a pressure come forward body puncher. You dig what I'm saying? So, um, he was able to handle Konowski's pressure, especially late in that fight. How would he be able to handle Joe Joyce's pressure? I don't know, but I know he has a pretty decent right hand. Or I'm sorry, Martin has a pretty good left hand. Um, but I know a lot of fans though. No matter if he just fought Gregory Corbin. He got the victory, disqualification, but he was up on points. If Greg didn't get a knockout, he was going to lose on points. Then he had the fight with Adam Konowski, where I thought Konowski edged him 6 rounds to 4. Uh, but I know a lot of fans, they still have that taste of that Anthony Joshua fight, and they will not let that go. You dig what I'm saying? Besides that blemish and that black eye, damn near literally, but that black eye on his record, that Joshua fight, he's not a bad heavyweight, man. He's not now. Is he a top five? I don't think he's top five, but he's still solid. He can give guys some good work. He can make for some entertaining, interesting fights, in my opinion. But a lot of fans will just they will not let that Anthony Joshua fight go. You dig what I'm saying? So, but to me, man, like I always say, you can't just always want to just show somebody's F's, man. You got to show the A's too. You dig what I'm saying? So yes, that's an F, but he got some A's too, man. Let me see here. Teddy B says Joyce versus Dubois will be a classic heavy-handed fight. Somebody would go to sleep. Yeah, like I love to say, somebody would be left prone or supine on the mat, in my opinion, in a fight like that, based on styles and based on how much leather is going to be thrown. Ryan Harrison says, good content, mate. Never caught you live before, all the way from the UK. Salute, man. I appreciate that. Main event, Mark says, CB. I got, okay, y'all chopping it up. Tef Music says, I like this fight. World Breaker, my man. He says, Joyce's boo boo. Yep, yep. So yeah, I assume World Breaker don't like his style, man. Ancestral Ray says, I got Triple D. Branulus says, Dubois sleeps Joe Joyce. Tone Bangers, he laughs at what World Breaker said. Neutral Natural says, Dubois flat footed European heavyweight. Shit. If if Dubois flat footed European heavyweight, then I'm trying to think what's even been worse than flat footed. Then I guess Joe Joyce is what? Stone footed? I don't know, because he's flat footed as hell too though. So and that's why I think it'd be a good slug fest. You dig what I'm saying? But I think that Dubois seems a little bit more defensive responsible. Tola, I don't even know how to pronounce your last name, bro, but Tola. Tola says, I would have liked this fight to wait between Joyce and Dubois. Imagine going from a world champion to a prospect like Dubois. It's a good fight, though. I think it's a good fight. Um, I mean, they could wait for it, but I like when guys want to get in there when they're at this stage and mix it up with another fellow undefeated prospect, man. Tola says Joyce can hit to the body, bro. Yeah. Oh no, of course. Yeah. No, he can bang to the body, but I think he really likes going for the head, though. You dig what I'm saying? Just like I know Adam Konowski can throw head shots as well. He likes to come over the top with that right hand and come with the left hook. I know that, but when I think of Konowski, I think of more just body blows. With Dubois, yeah, he likes to hit you everywhere, but he really likes going for that head, though. October 4th. So when I say that, guys, of course the guy isn't going in there and just throwing directly at this head, but I think he's more of a head hunter more than he is a body puncher. Um, Let me see here. October 4th says, I like Teddy Atlas, but he does get overwhelming. Teddy in small doses is better. He's such a wealth of knowledge and history in the sport. Yeah, he is, man. But sometimes, and like all, some of his views though on shit is just, I don't know, man. Like the shit he was saying about Mike Tyson. I seen an interview. Was he? I don't know if it was fucking Joe Rogan. It was a while ago, man. But this motherfucker said that in his mind, what's Mike's record? Is Mike 50-5 or is he 50 and okay, he lost to Douglas. He lost to Holyfield. He lost to Lennox. He lost to Danny Williams. And he lost to Kevin McBride. That's all his loss, right? So 5 losses. This motherfucker gonna say in his mind, Mike is really 0-5. And look, and I understand the history of what happened or allegedly happened. I know Mike was trying to get fresh with one of Teddy Atlas's family members, some a young girl back in the day, back when Mike was with Cuss back in the day, and Teddy didn't like it, and allegedly he up strap on Mike. All right, so maybe this is why he's saying some of this shit. But to say that in your opinion that Mike is 0-5 because whenever he faced adversity, he didn't do well, bro. Just, I mean, I know what he's trying to say, uh, but you just going to overlook the fact that Mike was at the much shit end of his career when he fought guys like Danny Williams and Kevin McBride. That's number one, okay? And I know you want to look at his career in totality, but second, uh, just because in your fight you win them, doesn't mean that there wasn't no adversity to face. You dig what I'm saying? Um, he faced hella adversity in that Razor Ruddock fights. In those fights, he was getting yo, Ruddock was tagging Mike. That was adversity in those fights. That's just a little small dose. But just to say that in your eyes he's 0-5, man, fuck you, man. And I like Teddy, man, but that's bullshit, man. That's come on, dude. And then what did he say? I don't know, man. But Teddy, he is very knowledgeable, man. But sometimes he be saying some bullshit, man. In your mind, he's 0-5. That's just so disrespectful, man. Mike Tyson's one of the best heavyweights of all time. Is he in my top five of all time? He's not in my top five. But in some people, he's top five. Some people think he's the best ever. You dig what I'm saying? Not me. You guys know who my top three shit heavyweights and fighters of all time are: Ali, Holmes, and George Foreman. And I know people are going to say, what about Lennox? What about Joe Louis? What about Jack Johnson? What about Rocky Marciano? What about, you know, the Klitschko's and all that? But those, I'm biased when it comes to those three fighters. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and try to lie to you. I'm very biased when it comes to Ali, Holmes, and Big George. All right, so I'm off that. Let me see. AZ says, I counted it myself against Laverne. Joyce did throw over 100 punches per round. Not many can survive that relentless pressure. I want to see this Ortiz fight so bad. Yeah, Joyce has a good work rate. His work rate is it higher than Big Baby's? Big Baby got a higher work rate as well. There's a lot of dudes that got some good work rates, man. Let me see here. David Watson says Joyce is mandated to fight Kabayel for the EBU, but after a voluntary defense, so could be at the end of the year. So for Joyce, Dubois, then Kabayel. Okay. And I guess shit, is Kabayel just going to take the voluntary, or is he going to say, nah, fuck that, I want my mandatory? You dig what I'm saying? But regardless of that, though, I think Joyce and Dubois is the more appealing fight on, when I look at it on paper and you see those names, they just jump out. My man BFTB boxing. He says I got Triple D. Joyce gets hit too much. Yes, he does. Um, CB Sports TV and like I said, BFTB. I don't know when you joined, but I said that I think Dubois looks more defensive responsible. You know what I mean? Defensively looks more responsible, in my opinion. And based off what I see, keeps the high guard up. Joyce does too, but he's not just like, hey, let's just trade. He's trying to hit you and not get hit. Joyce is more just you throw, I throw. We just gonna be throwing. You dig what I'm saying? Just try to wear you out. CB Sports TV, salute, man. Was good. He says, Joyce is more experienced and better stamina, and I don't know if Dubois can take a punch. And hopefully, well, I know Dubois will probably hear this and be like, what the hell are you talking about? But hopefully Larte, who he's going to fight, Richard Larte, I think he's going to win the fight. But Larte looked like he at least can punch a little bit. Hopefully he can land some shots on Dubois for our sake, just to see what happens. You know what I mean? Is he the type? Will he hit the canvas? Will he get rattled and freeze? Will he make an adjustment? You know, we'll see. Neutral Natural says Tyrone Spung versus Fujimoto. Kayotoro Fujimoto. I'm going with Spung by knockout in that one. Fujimoto, I believe his only loss is to, is it Haomanu? Solomon Haomanu? Somebody look that up and tell me if I'm right. Solomon Haomanu versus Kayotoro Fujimoto. I believe Haomanu knocked him out. I don't know. I think that's who Fujimoto fought. All right. But regardless of that, though, he's a very small fucking heavyweight. I mean, small, man. Um, he's small. He doesn't seem like he have enough power. I know he was like a K1 kickboxer or something like that, but Spong is very, very powerful, man. I know Spong. He he struggled in his last fight with Yaltolo Pereira. Pereira is a tough motherfucker, man. He was an Olympian. Think Spong's just a better overall fighter than Kayotoro. Uh, Diobly Newly, what's up, man? He says you don't want to ruin Dubois. Don't put him in with Joyce. I disagree because again, I'm gonna go back to this example. Look at Dillian White and Joshua. If you are what they say you are, you should be able to bounce back. And AJ put White to sleep. Yes, I know he hit him with a left hook. Okay, we all know that he hit him with a left hook in the second round, buzzed him. Then he got put to sleep. Not immediately after, but he got put to sleep eventually. You dig what I'm saying? He was against the ropes, unconscious. Um, but to Dillian White's credit, he's bounced back. You know what I mean? Got some highlight reel knockout wins. Good shit talker. I like Dillian White. You dig what I'm saying? So if you are who you think you are, you should be able to bounce back. So I don't, you know, now does that mean, but they're different fighters, right? So does that mean he may get ruined? We don't know. But hey, man, I'm a big believer in sometimes you got to take chances, man. You can't live you can't just want to play it safe. You dig what I'm saying? Not all the time, man. You got to take a chance. Now you probably think it's probably too early to take that chance, but to me, nah, it's right on time. It's right on time. Uh, let me see. Tef Music says if Triple D fights Joyce, how will we get to see it in the US? I'm not sure, but shit, good old YouTube. You dig what I'm saying? Good on YouTube, and there'll be some streams out there, bro. There's fight streams everywhere, man. My man Blood Boxing know all the damn fight streams. I know like First Row Sports TV or something. Um, shit, hit up Blood Boxing, man. He'll give you he knows all the damn streams. But there'll be some streams out there, and if not, it ain't gonna take nothing but about 20, 30 minutes when a fight's over. Be right up on YouTube, man. Or if not on YouTube, go to Daily Motion. Is that what it's called? Daily Motion? Yeah, they got all the fights. If you guys want to see that fight card, if you guys are interested in it, that fight card that was in Ohio that had Junior Fa, George Arias, Himi Hio and Stephen Shaw, who are four undefeated heavyweights. Uh, those fights are on Daily Motion. That's where I fought them in their entirety. Those fights are on Daily Motion. Let me see. D-Lo 404 Boxing was good. He says Joe Joyce is slow. His time was in 42. Hold on. Joe Joyce is slow. His time was in 42. He will get touched up by Triple D if it goes down. Neutral Natural says, I think someone like Andrew Ruiz can upset and KO. Man, I think Andrew Ruiz beats the hell out of Joe Joyce, y'all. Ruiz is very underrated, man. I think he beats Joe Joyce up. I just think he does, man. I think he beats him up. Why do I say that? Because I know what Joyce is coming to do. But like I said earlier in the comments, somebody can stop all that pressure by hitting you in the mouth. You dig what I'm saying? But I think he has faster hands, better technique, better defense, just as tough. He's just as tough. Uh, I just see him landing on Joyce often. You dig what I'm saying? And gonna try to make him miss. And I think he'll rough him up on the inside. I really do. I think Ruiz beats up Joe Joyce based on styles. But it's the heavyweight division. Anything can happen. But I would favor Ruiz in that fight. Maybe I'm over hyping and overlooking Joyce, but nah, I will go with Ruiz confidently. You know what I mean? Or with confidence. Let me see here. Tola says also Joyce will want it more. He has been waiting a while. Possibly, possibly wanting it more, but sometime youth, man, that blind youth when you don't even know better, when you just out there fighting and you think you motherfucking king of the world, that can take you a long way too. Look at a guy like Floyd Patterson, Muhammad Ali, and uh, Ali, Patterson, Tyson. Those guys won titles at extremely young age in their early 20s, man, 22, 21 years old. Just that blind confidence, you dig what I'm saying? That can just elevate you sometime, man, when you don't even know better, kind of thing. You dig what I'm saying? Minus you not having a lot of experience in the pro ranks, so, but Boxing 5 says Joyce has eaten clean shots in almost every fight I've seen him in. Personally, I think he'll fall short at the top level in the pros. Heavy handed and high volume, though. Konowski Joyce would be epic. Yes, it would. Adam Nicole says, great fight to gauge DDD potential. Really looking forward to this. Yeah, hopefully one of these fights happen for, hopefully it is Dubois and Joyce for the British title. Let me see here. Jay Legend says, Triple D got this. AZ says Joyce stamina is much better than Kanowski. He might stop Martin late. D. Newly says, if they ever fight, Kanowski versus Joyce has a fight of the year written all over it. Yes, it does. All over it. Jay Legend says, tough fight. Big Fella says Dubois will knock Joe Joyce out. Neutral Natural says Charles Martin better than Fuji. Yes. Hell yeah, Charles Martin is better than Kaito Fujimoto. It's not even. Dude, whenever I see, and nothing against the cat, man, because I don't, but whenever I see Fujimoto, bro, I just be like, how is he in the rankings, man? Like, some of these sanctioned body rankings, man, are just horrendous, man. Horrendous. Jili Zhang is somebody else that I would like to see mix it up with somebody. The Southpaw two-time Olympian. I think he got silver in 2008 at super heavyweight. I believe he did. I remember, you guys remember when Eddie Hearn was talking about, you guys don't believe me, you can type it in the search box on search box on YouTube. My video will pop up, and my video was referenced. I did a video to an article that came out. This is when Joshua first won his IBF title over Charles Martin. And one of the possibilities for a fight at that time in Hearn's mind for Anthony Joshua was the Zhili Zhang Zhili fight. You know what I mean? So, but he's a southpaw, undefeated. I want to see Zhili Zhang get in there with somebody, man. Big fella, appreciate that super chat, man. Let me see here. Okay, it says you gave me a super chat, but then the super chat icon up here never popped up. But I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate it. Um, hold on. Whoa, okay, shit. All right. Neutral naturals, okay. Got that one out the way. Dio Bernoulli says Mike Tyson had drug and discipline issues. He never reached his potential. You know what I think, man? I think he did reach his potential. You know why? He's the youngest heavyweight title holder champion of all time. Of all time. He did it at what, 20 years old? Now, you may think the longevity wasn't there. I will counter that by saying this. I think Mike Tyson's style, that type of style, come forward, the smaller guys fight as far as height, sometimes even weight in his fights, shorter reach, that come forward, bobbing and weaving head movement. I don't think Mike Tyson could have kept that up until he was 35 years old, 34 years old. Yeah, maybe for a round or two, but I don't really see him having the longevity of a Big George, Larry Holmes. I didn't see him being able to do that. Now, it's easy for me to say, right, because it didn't happen. But I think had Cuss been there, he would have beaten guys like Buster Douglas. Buster fought a great fight that night too, though. But I know what's been documented about Mike Tyson when he was over there and not taking it serious and all that. Got dropped in sparring. Who dropped him in sparring? Was it Oliver McCall? It was either McCall or Greg Page. One of the two had dropped him in sparring leading up into that fight. So I understand Mike was over there having menage a trois and doing what doing his thing. You dig what I'm saying? But I think he did reach his potential, man. He was undisputed champion. Um, I think he did reach it. I just think some people's careers just end differently, man. I think his career was meant for him to be who he was when he was young. You dig what I'm saying? Just like some people's careers are meant to be who they are when they got older, like a Lennox Lewis. I think he started to really come into his own when he got with Manuel Stewart, and then he got a little bit older. We may disagree, but that's just my opinion on it, bro. But if you're not the only one that thinks this. My uncles and everybody else think the same thing too, man. So there's hundreds and thousands of fans and millions of fans probably think probably on one accord with you, but I have a different opinion on it. Let me see here. Okay, Adam Nichols says another good fight, another good night. British boxing. Look forward to. Dio Bernoulli says Dubois will get bullied badly by Joyce, probably in his career. Man, I don't know. Dubois don't. I don't know. I mean, pressure can bust pipes, as they say, right? So shit, who knows? I don't know if he can handle the pressure. I'm not sure. What I've seen of Dubois so far is he just fights downhill. Kevin Johnson gave him some different looks. He was slippery in the fight, making a miss, things like that. So he was able to deal with that. But how would he be able to deal with somebody just putting full blown pressure on him? We don't know. At least we've seen, but I've seen Joyce get knocked out in the fucking World Series of boxing. You dig what I'm saying? So I've seen him against some different style matchups, Herkovic and Yoka, and really good, talented amateur fighters. You dig what I'm saying? And guys who are pro now and some of the top prospects. Dubois, I haven't seen him in there with the likes of those type of people. I've heard a lot of what happened in sparring stories. You dig what I'm saying? I heard sparring stories, allegedly what took place against Joshua and all these other guys who he sparred, Tyson Fury. You dig what I'm saying? So, but I visually haven't seen anything. Um, October 4th says I could see Dubois successfully working angles on Joyce. He keeps plodding forward, but it's too early for me to know with any confidence. Plus, we don't know how well Dubois takes a punch. That's a good point. Um, Teddy B says I think people are sleeping on Ajay. Watched a couple of his fights, or watched a couple of his last fights, and he's improved conditioning. Yeah, I always bring his name up, man. I think he's solid, man. Teddy B says, plus good sparring. Yes, I know Kabayel's in a lot of and you said his style as well, but I know he's in a lot of AJ training camps. I've seen him take pictures after sparring sessions with the Furies. Who else have I seen Kabayel with? Was he in a Povetkin camp? I'm not sure, but oh, my brother, stay ready. What's good, man? Stay ready, boxing TV. What's good? Y'all go sub to him, man. Also go sub to World Breaker Fighting, BFTB Boxing. Go sub to them brothers, man. Very entertaining channels. But my man, Stay Ready Boxing TV says Joe Joyce slow as a. He said Joe Joyce is slow as a work week. Work week. I hear you. He's Joe Joyce like that motherfucking Wednesday, right? That they call it Hump Day. He's like that Wednesday. Let me see here. After three says, greetings, brother. Something off topic. Who you got? Goods or Cassidy? I know you are a battle rap fan. Damn, how you know that, bro? You must see me in the comments section of like angry fan or hey, Battle Truth is funny as hell, man. I don't know if you guys are into battle rap, but there's a blogger who does battle rap. He blogs on battle rap. Battle Truth is funny as hell. But I'm gonna go with you know what, man? Whenever they start talking about bars or outdated, or he got outdated bars, or he sound like I want Cassidy to sound like Cassidy. I don't want him coming trying to sound like uh Geechee Gotti or Hitman Holla. I want him to sound like who he is, but kind of you know, switch it up a little bit, but still in his element and still in his realm. To me, he's a better rapper than Goods. Uh, I know Goods like to go off his swag and his presence and stage presence. I think Cassidy has good stage presence. I seen the face off between them, and Cassidy was talking spicy, man. Cassidy was talking spicy. Goods not gonna be able to pull that swag. I'm gonna out swag you thing. Maybe he might, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see him out swagging him. That money talk he likes to do. I don't know these dudes' pockets, but if I had to guess on who's had more money in their career or who's seen more bands, now I don't know what Goods do as far as off the stage. You know, I don't know his personal life as far as that. Maybe he got a bank full of money. You dig what I'm saying? But just based on things that are presented to us out there, I don't think he can talk that money talk. Or maybe he can reverse it on Cassidy and be like, "Look at the money you lost," or something like that. But all them angles, man, I really don't know what's going to hit. Now, that training angle, I know he's going to use that on Cassidy. Allegedly, what took place between that training and Cassidy, I don't, he may try to use that on him. But as far as who's the better rapper, I think Cassidy raps way better than Goods, and Goods got some skills. Like I like his GMB freestyles with all his homies when they get in there and they spit over them 90s East Coast hip hop beats. Then that's fire. You dig what I'm saying? Fire, but Cassidy got bars, man. And people say he outdated. This whole new school term of outdated, and man, we come up with you know what, man? For our culture, our rap culture, man, we're the only culture, the only genre of music where we say shit like that's outdated, that's whack. Like we push aside our old rappers, man, where if you go to rock, you go to pop, these people, rock bands are still doing tours. Rock bands that were not relevant since the fucking 80s and 90s are still touring the country, touring the world. I don't hear their fans say, oh, we don't want to listen to Metallica. They're outdated. We don't want to listen to U2. They're outdated. Man, they can go and perform them songs and sell out stadiums and arenas and all that type of thing, man. But with us in our genre, that's outdated. That's whack. That's garbage. We're the only ones that downplay our old school stuff, man. You know what I mean? Now, yes, the way Curtis Blow rap in the place to be, and that's out because that was like when it first began. You dig what I'm saying? As far as when they gave it a label. All right, because to me, rapping words together was a long time ago, even before the late 70s. It was a long time ago. You know what I mean? But we're the only genre, man, that put our old school artists down, man. And to me, that makes no sense. Like when I see what happened to Ja Rule at the Bucks game during halftime, I'm just sitting there like, dude, Ja Rule had hits. he had hits, man. Like he could still, in my opinion, go around and tour some of his albums. But I'm gonna go with Cassidy. I know some of y'all like, who the hell is he talking about? But that's just some battle rap stuff, man. Main event Mark. Okay, he's laughing at somebody. Vinyl Pugilist says, I think Joyce will take Kabayel and will uh we'll see Dubois versus Gorman next. I would like to see Dubois and Gorman. But if you're asking out of all these names that are being thrown out, Dubois versus Joyce just seems like it's just explosive, man. That just jumps out at me. All right, Shower upon them says salute Mr. Boxing today. I think Joyce will retire before Warren puts Dubois in with someone of that level. I think Joyce should fight Charles Martin next. Wipe out the rest of the heavyweights on the PBC. Boy, that's gonna be a tough task, man. You saying wipe them out? I don't know. I don't know, Shower upon them. That's it's gonna be a tough task, man. And I know the Charles Martin fight is in everybody's, or the Charles Martin Joshua's in everybody's head, but Joe Joyce is not Anthony Joshua. You dig what I'm saying? And that one would be, if Martin comes to fight though, man. If he comes to fight and show me what I've seen early in his career, like the fight with Dweco and the fight with Adam Kaunowski, even though he lost the fight, but show that heart and fight back, man, and do some of the things he was doing in the Corbin fight, things like that. He can make for an entertaining fight. Um, Jay Legend says Dominic Brazil don't have no defense. How he gonna hold on? How he gonna beat Duck Squad? Hashtag Brixton. Okay. Um. Well, how's he gonna beat Bomb Squad? I don't think he's gonna beat him, bro. Don't think he's gonna beat him at all. Um. I don't think he's gonna beat him. I think he just gets hit too clean. And somebody brought up a good point. I actually seen the archive or the comment when I was logging off my last chat, but somebody was saying, can Brazil possibly do what Johan Dubois was able to do, and that's put the high guard up, come forward, try to get water on the ropes, or at least push him back and try to rough him up like that. One thing about Dubois though, he does have a good chin. I know he got blasted out by Povetkin, but prior to getting sparked out by Povetkin, he hadn't been knocked out before. He'd been there with some heavy-handed guys, Erkin Tepper. You seen what Erkin Tepper did against David Price. You know what I mean? Well, a lot of people knock out David Price, but Tepper has heavy hands. You know what I mean? And who knows what Tepper was on during that fight with Duopa, based on what he got caught with allegedly years later. But the thing about with Duopa though, at least he was ducking down, making himself shorter a little bit, trying to come forward. Brazil straight up, straight in line for a right hand. He's too straight up for me. At least Duopa was trying to give a little, you know what I mean? Don gonna have to add some head movement in there, man. Let me see here. Adam Nichols says, be great, fight like White, Del Boy, Slugfest, might even buy tickets for this one. Vinyl Pugilist says, Gorman fighting Johnson this weekend. That's going to be some hard work. Yes, it is. Kevin Johnson. Well, he's slippery in there and knows how to survive. Been in there with some of everybody. He's not going to be intimidated. He's slippery on defense. Going to make you work. Boxing Five says, "What's Mike Tyson's biggest win?" Well, to me, his biggest win, to me, is when he won the title. To me, that was because that was the start of it all, in my opinion. Now I know that Trevor Burbick, and Burbick was a tough guy, man. Burbick was a tough motherfucker, man. You know, I know he fought Larry Holmes, and Trevor's the only Trevor fought. Shit, he fought Ali, and he fought Mike Tyson. So did Larry Holmes. All right, but I think that's the most important win. I think that's the most important win. His wins over Ruddock, to me, people downplay those wins, man. Because at the time he fought Ruddock, especially going into that first fight, Mike Tyson and Razor Ruddock were at that time were viewed as the two hardest punchers in the division. I know Big George was around. I know Lennox was starting to come, but I'm just saying what was thrown out there, y'all. They were viewed as the two top punchers in the division at that time, and Razor was a very dangerous guy. Yes, I know that Lennox wiped him out, and I know he lost to Tommy Morrison, but I'm just freezing it for that moment in time when he fought Mike that first time. All right, that was a very dangerous fight for Mike, and for Mike to come off of the Douglas loss. I know he got in there and fought Alex Stewart and things like that, but for your next competitive fight to be against Razor, that was Mike showed some balls doing that. All right, in my opinion, because Razor Ruddock had a motherfucking that punch, that smash one, that was damn near decapitating people, man. Like what he did to Michael Dokes. Razor had a slugfest with Bone Crusher Smith. You know what I mean? So I thought those wins were some pretty good wins, man. But I don't know who do you think his biggest? What do you guys think Mike Tyson's biggest wins was, and what do you think was his most important win? Y'all let me know what y'all think. But to me, it's the fight that started it all, as far as his reign, and that's going in there and wiping out Trevor. All right, some text messages. All right, y'all. Let me try to answer a few more questions. I always say I'm not gonna be long, man, and the damn hour comes up. I try to be faster with these reading y'all's comments, man. But when y'all ask me stuff, I can go on and on about just one topic. I can make a video. I can probably make a video of every question y'all ask me, man. So yes, I'm very long-winded, man, but it is what it is. Let me see here. Jack Evans says I don't think Warren will put Dubois in with Joyce, even though I pick him to win. Neutral Natural says who had the worst jaw, David Price or you put Ari, but I know you mean Ali Harrison or Oleg Moskayev. Um, but at least with Moskayev, he had some great wins though. You dig what I'm saying? At least he had some great wins. Rockman, you know what I mean? At least he has some solid wins. And he wouldn't just fall after just getting touched all the time. Shit, he went far with Tua. He went pretty. How far did he go with Sam Peter? But I would say, hold on, who did you say again? Oddly, Moskayev, and Price. I'm gonna say Price, man. And I know Ali was getting stopped. You know what I mean? I know Wilder stopped him. That was probably the wildest I seen Deontay Wilder in that Ali Harrison fight, man. But I will go with David Price. Um, Baby Ting says Mike is down way behind. Holy shit. Okay. He says Mike is one of the goats. Teddy is salty. Man, I'm so behind. Yeah, I think he's salty too. October 4th says I took issue with that Teddy said about Mike too. With 0 and 5, he forgets that Mike faced adversity against Tucker, Ruddock, Bruno, and others who he beat early in his career. Yeah, Bruno landed a good. Was it a left hand that Bruno landed on Mike that kind of buckled him slightly? You know what I mean? Some guys would have probably their mind frame would or their mindset would have probably switched up after getting tagged like that. You know what I mean? Tony Tucker was making it difficult for him, moving and holding and grabbing. Bone Crusher Smith did the same thing. You know what I mean? That's adversity. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Teddy's on some like he didn't hit the canvas and get back up after hitting the canvas, or he didn't. You know what I mean? I don't know, man, because he was getting tagged up by Douglas and he tried to come. He even dropped Douglas. You know what I'm saying? Some people say want to argue long count, but he just make Mike just seem like some fly by night champion, man. You know what I'm saying? Teddy's salty, man. Great trainer though, wealth of knowledge, probably knows more, probably forgot more than well, nah, I'm not gonna diss myself like that, but he has a lot of knowledge, worked with a lot of guys, knows how to train, you know what I mean? He was there in the early days bringing Mike up, so I'm not gonna just take that away from him. Um, Daniel Kyler says, who wins out of Parker versus Jarrell Miller? Hmm. That's a good one, man. Let me think on that one. Shit, that's a good one, man. To me, I think it's 50-50, bro. All right. We'll definitely get to see I'll probably be able to gauge it better once I see Miller in there with AJ. All those styles make fights, right? I always say that, but I think it's 50-50. I think it's a coin toss in my opinion. Cause what I seen with what's my man's name? Andy Ruiz Jr. Because Andy wanted to fight. He wanted to come forward and fight. Parker was choosing to use some back foot. And when I seen Parker in there with Dillian White, also when he gets to trading with you, he can be hurt. You know, the dude is human. He can be hurt, and that's what Miller will want to do: get right in the wheelhouse. I think Parker, if he can implement fighting them in close, at least making it even with that, and using some of his outboxer skill, he could probably outpoint Jarrell. But Parker has said that he wants to be more aggressive in these fights. I know he was like that with was it Alexander Flores, and in the Dillian White fight, he came out more aggressive. So this aggressive Parker comes to fight 50-50. Because he has some respectable power. You dig what I'm saying? But if Jarrell walks through his power, then it's gonna be Parker's gonna be in trouble. All right, let me scroll back up because we disconnected, man. So I got to scroll way back up. All right, let me see. Okay, Jack Evans says what a press conference it would be. Daniel Kyler says who? Okay, cool. Ted Music says Mike Tyson with Cus Yamato. Nobody beats him ever. Yes, yes, yes. Somebody would beat him. You ain't. I don't think you listen to me, man. Ali, Foreman, and Holmes. I know Tyson beat Holmes, but those are my three favorite fighters, though, man. But yeah, Mike would have been. Well, he was already an animal, man. Even when Cuss passed, but um, Mike, I can't discredit Mike, man. Mike was an animal, man. I can't discredit Mike, but I think Big George. You know what? Like Holmes is my guy, man. But I think Mike would beat. It's going to hurt me to say this, damn, but I think Mike would beat Holmes even if Holmes was in his prime, based on what I've seen with the Shavers fights. Um, you know, I think Mike would beat Holmes even if Holmes was in his prime. I don't think Mike beats Ali, and I think Foreman knocks him out. I'll be out there in a second. I'll be out there in a second. I think Big George knocks him out, and I've talked about that so many times, bro. And if I start talking about that, it'll be another hour. So let me get past that. Let me get past that. Az says Dubois is still green. I'd rather see Joyce for Kabayel next. Uh, Now some people may look at that comment Az and say, well, what do you mean Dubois factually has more professional fights than Joyce? But I understand what you're saying. Joyce is the more experienced fighter, not more fights at the professional level, but he is the more experienced fighter due to his amateur background. Um, but you say I'd rather see Joyce versus Cabello next. Az says Customato, laugh aloud is Customato. All right, he must be okay. Joshua Sinclair says Spong fought Fujimoto in K1. Oh, they did? Who won that fight? Watch, and I just said Sponga beat. I just said Sponga beat Fujimoto in a boxing match, and I won't be surprised if you tell me that Fujimoto beat Spong. That's K1. I'm talking about in a boxing match. I'm favoring Spong. I think he's the better boxer. But let me know who won their K1 fight, because I'm not really in the K1 like that. Tev Music, okay. D Opening and Newly says Tyrone Spong won't pass the drug test. Mark Blake says peace, fam. Peace, Mark Blake. Joe Host, what's good? He says, just read the title. Let's pray for our homie Joyce. AZ says, laugh out loud. Yeah, I know, but it looks like to me. Okay. Jack Evans says, if it's on BT, it should be on ESPN Plus. Main event Mark says, hey, Mark. Is there another Mark? Yeah, Mark Blake. Duh. Okay. AZ says, nah, Ruiz is food for Joyce. Too small, but he packs a hell of a punch, bro. See, now, Az, you said too small. What I think you meant to say is too short. Because his weight is there. He's wide. He's a wide body. But that motherfucker can crack. He can crack, man. He can crack. Had Parker chose to just fight him aggressively, I think he would have beat Parker that night. And based on just the fight itself, I actually went back and checked because I kept saying that I had Parker 7-5. When I went back and checked my post-fight video, to Parker and Ruiz, I had it 6-6. So, but styles make fights though. That Parker doesn't necessarily mean that that fight with Parker doesn't necessarily mean that that would be the same type of fight with Joyce. But I see Ruiz beating him, bro. So we just disagree on that one. Baby Ting says Ruiz is Parker level, very underrated. Oh, there you go. Somebody agrees with me. Dio Benuli says Ruiz let me down for Joseph Parker. Dio Benuli also says he treated like a sparring session. Ruiz let me down. But bro, to me, uh Obenuli, that was more of Parker making it like that though, because Ruiz was coming forward trying to create the fight. Parker, I think Parker looked at it like, and he did win the fight, even though I thought it was a draw. He did win the fight. I think he looked at it like, well, man, I'm going to use my outboxing skill to sully and nullify what you're trying to do. I'm not going to play into your hands. So I think he was trying to go the smart way about it, using logic. Um, but I think he was the one that made it into that type of fight. But again, it's Ruiz's job to cut the ring off and get Parker in a, you know, get him stagnant and get him inert and get him motionless to create that type of fight. So maybe you probably think he didn't go all out more than he should have. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Neutral Natural says great minds think alike about Ruiz versus Joyce. Kiddo says I rate Kabayel, Scuds, good movement. Yeah, man. Main event Mark says yeah, I'm waiting to see Zhang too. Yep, Jili Zhang. Kiddo says Karuto Fujimoto got beat up by MMA fighters as a kickboxer. Gerard, I don't want to say that. Masusi dominated him and dropped him twice. Um, don't know how to pronounce this name. Damn. Emarilli Ghaznavi. He says any new heavyweight prospects on the rise. Um, Go to my heavyweight prospect playlist, man. There's so many. I've covered over 90 of them. Some of them are older videos from 2, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but I'll put up some new ones. Just go and you don't have to watch the video, but just scroll down and some names you don't recognize. Check those guys out. Neutral Natural says you're going to do a style breakdown on Shields versus Hammer. Y'all want me to? I wasn't planning on it, but if y'all want to lobby for that, then yeah, I don't mind doing that. Kiddo says Effie Jagba one to watch. 24 years old. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Uh, Main event Mark says he thinks FA is the future of the heavyweight division. He may be. He may be. We'll see how it plans out. But I like what I see. Again, just want to see how he deals with, like you guys were saying about Dubois. What happens when he gets hit in the mouth? What happens when he gets pushed backwards? What happens when he lost 2 rounds in a row? What happens when there's a jab in his face and he can't get his right hand off like he wants to? The guy isn't in range. What happens? Questions need to be answered by a lot of these guys. But from what I see, the eye test, yeah, he looks like he's the goods. Um, AZ says Peter is officially 38, but how old is he really? Sam Peter, I have no idea, bro. And I remember this being talked about years ago when I used to be on eastsideboxing.com and I went under the name Monster of the Midway. Before I started making YouTube videos, I was just a commenter. Well, I had a profile, but I was just being in a lot of chat rooms. In the chat room I used to frequent the most was eastsideboxing.com, which is now boxing 24/7. And I used to be on there from what, 05, 04, 03, 04 to 2009, 2010 when I transferred to YouTube. Um, but yeah, said all that to say this. That used to come up in the chats back then. Is he really his age? You know what I mean? So I don't know how old he is, man. Neutral Natural said, well, I know they report him at officially being 38, but I don't know if he's older or not. You know what I mean? He could be. And I know how it is with Cubans and, guys from different countries when they come over here. Neutral Natural says nobody talk about European dudes looking way older than his age. Povetkin or Usanov looks 55 with hair dye. Yeah, Usanov looks old as hell, man. I damn think his motherfucking chest hair is gray. Nah, but Ustinov does look old as hell. He's looked old since the first time I ever seen him. Xavier the boxing nerd says, "How would you see Michael Moore versus Chris Bird versus Lennox Lewis?" Hold on. How would you see Michael Moore? Okay, so Michael Moore and Chris Bird versus Lennox Lewis. Lewis never fought a southpaw in his career, and he actually said something about that. Somebody had linked me a Joe Rogan interview, and I know Rogan came out and said some stupid ass shit too about Planet of the Apes or some shit that was so disrespectful. What a fucking idiot, man! But he did have a good interview with Lennox Lewis. Um, and I did hear Lennox say something about not fighting southpaws. Um, Lennox too big, too strong, too big, too strong. And I know what they would like to do, use some boxing. Hey, Michael Moore was more of a slugger back in his early days. That fight he had with Burt Cooper, classic, classic slugfest. But he was a KO artist when he was in lighter divisions. Then he became more of a boxer, you know, type guy. Slip punches make you miss and counter when he got into heavyweights. You know what I mean? But I think Lennox just too big, too strong, better jab. Um, yeah, and I think Bird's fight against Lennox will look a lot like when he fought Klitschko. I know he fought both Klitschko's, but it'd be a lot like that. You know what I mean? Being on the outside of that punch, not having to weigh in, and just strictly defense without that much offensive output. It's one thing to have some good defense. It's another thing when you're really just pretty much defensive the whole time and you're not being able to put out the punches you want to be able to put out to punish that guy and keep him at bay. You dig what I'm saying? Not to say that Chris Bird was this high work rate guy, but just strictly defense, not gonna work against Lennox. And more, in my opinion, uh, I see Lennox being very aggressive with a guy like that, with the way Michael Moore used to fight. You know what I mean? That tight guard, but from the southpaw angle. Um, yeah, I see Lennox teeing off on him, man. Count Drago says after the Brazil fight, how about Wilder versus White with undercard of Ortiz versus Parker on Showtime pay per view? Um, if we can't get undisputed or we can't get the Fury rematch, I'm all for it. And as far as Ortiz versus Parker, I'm all for it. Main event Mark says that modern mumble rap is garbage in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, like me, well, you guys know, well, I hit my heavy bag when I would do my breakdowns, but I work out doing boxing stuff. That shit only I can only tolerate that when I'm working out because I like the energy. It's not so much that I'm like, ooh, listen to the lyrics, not the lyrics. It's just the beat, the energy, the hook. It's good workout music. Or no, I don't mind it when I'm working out. I'll put it like that because I like to play some 70s soul and you know what I mean, 90s hip hop, late 80s hip hop stuff like that. But I don't mind it when I'm working out because of the beat, maybe because of the hook, and it's just I like that energy, man. Just give you some energy. But let me see here. Dio Manuli says, "Yeah, man, the Rolling Stones are still going, and they've been going since 1300 BC." Yeah, and you don't hear rock fans and saying, "Oh, that's outdated." I swear, man, hip hop, and not only just hip hop, but just like urban clothing, like FUBU. And I know you guys heard me like joke about it, but that was just me referencing uh, how long ago I saw something. Like I'll say something like, "Oh, I ain't heard of him since I was wearing FUBU." I'm just referencing that to how old, well, whatever it is I'm talking about was or is. All right, but we're the only genre, the only we don't support our own enough, man. You know what I mean? We want to wear Gucci and Fendi and Balenciaga and all these European brands that I can't even fucking name. Uh, And yes, I do have in my closet some pieces, but I don't have a closet full of shit that I can't name. I got some, some belts and some things like that. But, you know, um, we're just so quick to just downplay anything that has 10, 15 years of age on it, man, plus on it, and say it's old or it's outdated or nobody wear that no more. Nobody listen to that no more. We're the only genre, hip hop, and urban clothing designers and stuff like that. We're the only people that just say some shit's outdated, man, and just put it to the wayside. Sad, man, sad. Um, Neutral Natural says Erkin Tepper versus Otto Wallen. Otto Wallen. I think Tepper's done. Uh, Main event. Mark says Brazil is going to perish in May. Uh, Rory Tabori says I think his biggest win is probably Spinks, Ruddock, or Holmes. Okay, talking about Mike Tyson. The Spinks fight as well because that was for he was already undisputed, but then Spinks was like that cherry on top because he was still the lineal champion, and Mike went undisputed, beat the lineal, nothing else to talk about. I'm the man. You dig what I'm saying? So yes, that was great as well. The Ruddock fights and then beating Larry Holmes. Some people may argue that Holmes coming off 2 losses. I thought he at least won one of those fights against Spinks. He had took some time off, came back, fought a buzzsaw named Mike Tyson, got beat up. All right. Larry did have some rounds like that one. I forget was around 3. I forget which round it was exactly, but he looked like the old Eastern assassin, man. He was moving around, popping his jab. I'll be out there in 1 second. I'm gonna jump off in a minute, y'all. But yeah, okay, let me see here. Neutral Natural says Simon King versus Teslenko, Alexander Teslenko. I know King coming off a loss to Dylan Carmen. Kind of it was a mild shocker, not too much of an upset, but like a mild shocker. Shit, if you, I wouldn't even probably say that, but he was the favorite. All right, but Teslenko versus King, I still think it's 50-50 because Teslenko, man, Avery Gibson made him work. And I know Avery Gibson likes to make you miss, and he's kind of awkward and fights from these weird, he rhythms and stuff. But Keane is still an Olympian. He just got tagged, man. He got caught in the jaw, man. Heavyweight, you get caught on that jaw, good, man. Anything can happen. Um, that's a coin toss, man. I think that was a coin toss, man. Um, Neutral Natural says former also ducked Tony Tucker. Um, I have to look back on that one, but one thing about Big George, he was staying away from the big, like the 6'5", 240, 235, 50-pound guys, like the rate, like the like the Lennox Lewis, the Riddick Bowes. You never heard Big George say he wanted to fight them guys, man. You dig what I'm saying? But he did get in there with guys like Shannon Briggs, and he, got a shot with Michael Moore. So it's not like he was just avoiding all competition. He wanted Mike like a motherfucker too. So it's not like he was avoiding all comp. And he did get in there with Holyfield. But it did seem like now Shannon Briggs is from that ilk of guys like that. But like the guys that can really box and move like that, like a Tony Tucker, who's an excellent boxer. Um, Big George did seem like, and he fought Tommy Morrison as well. But those guys, those like he was kind of like, push come to shove. Those aren't the guys I really want. You know what I mean? I'd rather have some other type of guys. You dig what I'm saying? But as far as him ducking Tucker, I don't remember everything. You know what I mean? So maybe I need to go back and do some research on that one. But it wouldn't surprise me if he stayed away from that fight to fight somebody else, even if it was a Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? Um, who would win? Or you says who would have won in '95? Tony Tucker, Tony Tucker versus Big George. Oh, it was '95, the '95 version of Tucker versus Big George. Shit, man, Tucker. Because look, dude, if Tommy Morrison was able, and Tommy Morrison went to Morrison, look, he wants to land back in them days. He wanted to land big left hooks and fight with you, right? He went in there and boxed with George. You know what I mean? If he can box with George and eke out a decision, I think Tony Tucker would have been able to do it as well. And I love Big George, man, but I gotta keep it a thousand, man. Main event Mark says, Mr. B, this this your stream. We here to listen. You do a good job, man. I appreciate that, bro. Let me see here. Hold on. Okay, yeah, Rory Tabori says Tucker is a very good win. That was undervalued just because Tyson was so dominant at the time. Yeah. And Larry Merchant, he was making it seem like, why isn't it over already type thing. But if I can remember correctly with his commentary. But yeah, Tucker was a really good boxer, man. Went in there, outboxed the hell out of James Buster Douglas. You know what I mean? Dio Benuli says it seems like Chris were better in the 70s. Hold on. Oh, Chin, I think it said Chris. Chins were better in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Especially in them 70s, man. Them dudes, had to fight 15 rounders and all that, man. Let me see here. Baby Ting says Price versus Khan, who wins? Whoever hits whoever hits the whoever hits the other on the chin first wins. Who, who is it? All right. Let me see here. Oh, you had that thing, huh?
Yeah, well, I was shopping
Oh,
for the fundraiser tomorrow.
okay. AZ says Botha was Mike big win. He says Botha was Mike's big win. No, he said Botha was Mike big win. He was losing. Yes, Mike was losing to Francois Botha. And what sticks out to me about that fight, the commentary was the commentary. I believe it was Pacheco was like Mike better do something right now because right now he's being out. Boom! Right when he was saying that, he threw the shortest right hand that I've seen, man. And he caught both on the chin, and it was over. Both had tried to get up. Mike ran over there. You know how Mike would be all sentimental after the fight, after he knocked the motherfucker out. Well, even after he got beat with Lennox, he was like that. But he ran over there, tried to help him up and everything like that. But Franz Botha was beating Mike. He was beating Mike. He was. You remember Franz Botha every time he throw a punch, huh, huh, huh. And when he got punched with that right hand, he was huh. He was in the middle of saying that, and boom, got hit right with the right hand, and he was all over the place after that one. Um, Rory Tabori says Prime Foreman is Tyson's worst nightmare. And I think old Big George was his nightmare too, based on the way Mike likes to fight. He's coming right into Big George's wheelhouse, man. I've talked about that a lot, man. A lot of people. All right. Shut up.
No, Rocky.
Crying ass.
No.
Let me see here.
Is the
JD says, yeah. JD says Joyce versus Dubois is a good fight.
No.
I'm gonna take my dog out in a minute, man, because he's crying. Probably just go outside and do his thing. Let me see here. JD says Joyce got choices in Kabayel and Dubois now. Yes, he does. Count Drago says the 4-fight legacy between Jersey Joe Walcott versus Ezra Charles is underrated, and so are the fighters. Yes, they are, man. And another underrated trilogy that I talked about that I think is very underrated is Floyd Patterson versus Johansson. Um, and if you haven't, Count Drago, go to my playlist, and I have post fight reactions to old school fights from the 50s. I know I'm speaking of Ezra Charles. I did his post fight with Bobby Satterfield. He landed a left hook from hell, and Satterfield was a very good come forward fighter. He would be like the, you know, uh, pressure fighter, like a Miller or something like that of then. Um, so go check out my post fights, man. I did a lot of fights from back in the 50s and 60s, a lot of very old school fights. You know what I mean? So go to that playlist, check out I believe that's what it's called. I have no idea. But I think it's called post fight breakdown. Just go to the playlist and you'll see them, man. I also did who else did I do, man? Did I do Quarry and Frazier? I did a lot of them. Let me see here. JD says a Jagman Herkovic look the jewels of the prospects, in my opinion. They're up there. D Obley Newly says I only listen to YouTube vids and Google Hangouts when I work out. I usually listen to that when I clean, but when I'm working out, I like I don't know. Just for me, I do a lot of
Some music.
high intensity type of workouts, man. And maybe you do as well, but for me, what helps me in a high intensity workout is music. So if it's mumble rap, as long as the beat jam it, and to me, I get more in tune and I connect with the beat more than anything when I listen to the newer stuff. Now, if it's older stuff, yeah, I can rap the lyrics because it's more my lane. You know what I mean? Look, no bullshit. This is my Apple just brought up the Lennox Lewis Tyson fight for the next fight. I just watched the Michael Moore and Holyfield first fight, and right when this popped up, they're talking about this is Sky's version of the fight. And what did they show? The Mike Tyson knocking out Franz Botha. You know another thing that I like about what makes YouTube great is a lot of these fights, like Tyson Lewis, and there's a lot of fights. I like watching not so much just the fight again, but I like watching the Sky Sports version, their telecast, and see how they called the fight and what they thought of the fight. Man, Mike got his ass whooped in this fight, man. Ugh. But let me see here. Xavier the boxing nurse says, "Man, Benny Golson is 90 years
I'm
old,
rocking.
and he has five gigs lined up from now to May. Jazz musicians never forget. Yeah." BC said Teslenko, I think, over Keane. Diabanuli says Mr. Boxing Larry Holmes beat up on Holyfield. I still say Mike Tyson rob us fans of something great. Uh, Holmes and Holyfield, I thought Holyfield won the fight, but he made Larry Holmes work. I remember what sticks out about that. It was a good fight, but Larry Holmes threw up after that. Like right when the bell was over, Larry Holmes threw up in the ring. Larry Holmes did beat up an undefeated, outbox. It wasn't like he was knocking him down there like that, but he did get the best of Ray Mercer. That sticks out to me about Larry. As Blood Boxing would say, box haircut Larry Holmes. Not meaning fro Larry Holmes, but box haircut with the damn V in his lining. You know what I mean? That Patrick Ewing. Uh, BC says Joyce over Kabayel. I'd rather see Joyce versus Dubois, in my opinion. KNM84 says I like this fight. Both need a test. BC says Tucker Lewis was a damn good fight. Yes, it was. Was that even aired on US TV? Yes, it was. It was on HBO. KNM84 said, was it on HBO? I believe it was on HBO. KNM84 says Larry the Great. BC says Larry Bird. Neutral Natural says funniest. Did I say Larry Bird? I hope I didn't say Larry Bird. Man, sometimes I do videos, man, I'll be meaning to say one guy. I'll be meaning to say Michael Hunter and slip and say Michael Jackson or something. You know what I mean? But I hope I didn't say Larry Bird. Maybe you're responding to KM 84. Neutral Natural, funniest heavyweight boxing dances. KOs. Um, there's been a lot of them, bro. My brother Blood Boxing, what's good, man? He says, what up, chat? He said, what's good, chat? Funniest KO boxing knockout. Shit, since we talking about Mike Tyson, the one against Burbick, that sticks out like a sore thumb. There's been a lot of them, man. There's been a lot of them. But Burbick was, and rest in peace to Trevor, man. He was a real feisty fighter up in there, man. Solid guy, but he was doing some of everything. He was doing the electric slide. He did the running man. He slid across second. He's he slid across home plate. He did a jumping jack. Man, he was doing everything when he got hit, man. He went down like what 3 times or something off that the after being knocked down. Um, but I think that's what you're asking me, bro. Hopefully, that's what you're trying to ask me. Neutral natural. That's one that pops out right now because Mike is fresh in my head, so maybe that one. Um, all right, everybody's greeting Blood like they should. Shout out to Blood, man. Blood boxing is the reason, or I'll say the reason, but he is the guy that inspired me, right? Because you can get inspiration from everywhere. Although I was a big boxing fan from the 80s, but when I heard this dude named Blood Boxing do a YouTube video, I was like, wow, I think I'm gonna get in this. This is tight right here. This how me and my uncles and my father chop up boxing. So Blood was definitely the inspiration for me to start making YouTube vids. I will say that. All right. Um, Rory Tabori says boxing needs a good video game to reach the younger generation. Uh, Let me see here. Hey, Blood, since you in here, bro, I have brought this up. I don't know if you heard it. Well, you said you listened to that live stream, but I have brought this up before. Speaking of boxing games, do you remember when Fight Night? If you played, I forgot if it was round Fight Night round two or round three. Well, both of them, I whoop any of y'all in them Fight Nights, man. I whoop any of y'all.
Hey, babe.
But
Brianna's gonna come with me to do the shopping for the fundraiser.
okay, cool.
She's getting ready right now.
All right, cool. Um, what I was gonna say was, do y'all remember how in those fight nights, when you go career mode, they will give you the option to pick who you wanted to fight. So they have three fighters up there, right? And then it will say, if you fight this guy and win, your purse will be this much, and you'll get a title shot. If you fight this guy, your purse will be extremely high. You won't move in the rankings, but you'll make an extremely, hey son,
Hey, daddy.
you'll make extremely high amount of money. But if you fight this guy, the money will be in, but you'll get a title shot. Video games were implementing business, you know what I mean, and being able to duck guys. You get what I'm saying? And I thought about that the other day, because of the discussions that's been going on about money and contracts and turning down this deal and that deal. I was thinking like, damn, Fight Night actually put that in their game. And when I was playing career mode, I always just went for what got me the title shot. I didn't care about my character getting the most money. Although money did help you buy, you know how you can buy like agility and ain't that some shit? Buy agility, buy power, but you could buy trunks and the color of your gloves. You can unlock certain things. So I got why you need it to make the money. But me, I was even I was inducting no fades on fight night. I was trying to get my ranking high. You know what I mean? I don't give a damn about the color of my guys' trunks. But y'all remember that though? That was crazy, man. M Stacks 85. What's good, brother? Y'all go subscribe to M Stacks 85, man. He says career mode made you a beast on fight night. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Dio Minuli says you can buy power. You're right. Silly me. Silly me. Dio Minuli says you can buy power and agility with them peds in real life. You're right. You are right. You are right. Silly me. BC says buying power. That's like taking roids. Yeah, y'all right. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. But I'm looking at it as you wouldn't. I'm looking at it like a person is not going to do that. You dig what I'm saying? But you guys, that is a fact though. You guys are right. My man Blood Boxing or Retro Boxing Documentaries Blood Boxing. He says, "Thanks, brother. We go back a decade. Yeah, man. Yes, we do. It's been a long, long, long time. Blood Boxing, my first collab video, or was it Carcino? This one, Carcino, y'all was doing straight boxing videos. I know now he's covering hip hop and love and hip hop and all them type of things. And what's the series he got? Truth Be Told or The Truth About? What the fuck is it called? But Carcino, I used to do videos with him back in the day. D Style Boxing, Joe Habib from the Boxing Voice. I'm gonna start forgetting people, man. But I think if Blood wasn't my first collab, it was in the same month of my other collabs because I came right on here collabing with people right away because I wanted to chop boxing up. Because the reason I came to YouTube is like, man, we can actually interact. Because on the chats that I used to frequent, the boxing forums, like on eastsideboxing.com, which is boxing 24/7 now, you just chatting back and forth. This was like virtual, like, you can chop it up and get on Uvo, which is kind of like the Hangouts, like Google Hangouts, but we were using Uvo back then. And to me, I thought that was just better, just chopping it up, going back and forth like that. Thought it was great, man. That's old school YouTube days. My man James Coleman, what it do? He says, yo, Mr. Boxing. D. Obinuli says, is White going to wait for Wilder to KO Brazil? It is he going to get an opponent. I'm not sure what Dillian is going to do, man. Hopefully Dillian is doing what he's been doing and stay active. You know what I mean? Some people may argue and say, nope, he needs to just sit and wait his turn. To me, Dillian White should do what has makes him a better fighter. And I think what makes him a better fighter is staying active. Will he run the risk of losing? Yeah, but he ran the risk of losing to everybody else he just fought. You know what I mean? So Count Drago says Sonny Liston highly underrated, beats a prime Frazier. Ali from age 20. Ali from age 21 to 27 was unreal. I can't argue with nothing you just said there. And I love me some Joe Frazier, one of the best motors I've ever seen in the sport, especially at heavyweight when he was in his prime years. But I think Liston beats him. I can't I can't say shit. Just agree with what you said, pretty much. Tef Music says Sonny Liston was my favorite fighter. Liston was a very good fighter, man. Very good fighter. One of the best jabs, a very long reach, 84 inches. He had huge hands, tough, would scare the hell out of you, whether he was in the ring or outside the ring. Um, who was the guy? Was it Cleotis? What was the guy's name? The guy was like a light heavyweight, but then he would come up to heavyweight that knocked out Sonny Liston, man, late in his career. Cleotis. Damn, come on. I know Blood. One of y'all know his last name, man. BC, Tough Music, somebody, Count Drago, Cleotis, forget his name. But even Sonny Listens against Cleveland Williams, classics. I think I did a post-fight breakdown to those fights because he fought him twice, I believe. Yeah, he fought him twice. Classic fights. Williams was cut, man. He was one of the most cut, as far as his physique, one of the most cut fighters I've ever seen, man. Damn, them dudes were cut back in the day, man. Nah. Let me my wife looked it up. Let me see. Nah, put in Sonny Liston. Put in Sonny Liston and Cleos. I forgot the guy's name. Leotis Martin. I said Cleo. It was Leotis Martin. Never mind.
Okay,
Leotis Martin. I can't remember everything. I remember a lot of stuff, y'all, but I forget a lot of stuff too. But I was close. And then, yeah, I know he got knocked out face first. I watched that fight. His Cleveland Williams fights were very good as well.
Rocky, Rocky, come on.
Man, I thought to get my kids up for school, y'all. I forgot there was no damn school today. Let me see here. BC says old boxing hater talk probably said that. I've heard from one that said Ali isn't the greatest. He really has 10 law. Oh my God. And I think I know who you talking about. Not that I've seen the video, but I have an uploader in my mind right now who wouldn't mind discrediting a guy like Ali. I'm not even gonna make him famous. But if if y'all yeah, it's probably y'all who you think of. But if it's who y'all could leave it in the comment section if you think it's him. But um was it an uploader that said this? Or just somebody in some comment section? Because if it's an uploader, I have somebody in mind right now who would say some shit like that. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that sounds ridiculous, man. That sounds ridiculous. Trill Scott Heron says, what's up, Mr. Box Today 2? Long time viewer. I appreciate that. He says, keep up the good content. Question. Top 5 non-heavyweight you enjoyed or enjoy watching of all time. Easy. First, from Detroit, Michigan, Thomas Hitman Hearns. That's number 1. All right. The second one, Bernard Hopkins.
Well,
Third, and I know he moved up to heavyweight, but I enjoyed him at lighter weight. So I guess we can kind of add on James Lights Out Tony. So we got Hearns, Hopkins, Tony, Roy Jones Jr.,
didn't he go to heavyweight?
and yeah, Roy went to heavyweight as well. See, my wife know her boxing too. She checking me like, man, he went to heavyweight. What you talking about? It was just for one fight though. You know what I mean? He beat John Ruiz. Um, the fifth one, I mean, I used to love watching Sweet Pea, man. Ray Leonard. It's hard to put it to 5, man. It's hard to put it to 5.
You're talking about past or current fighters?
They're asking me either current or previous.
Terrence Crawford's not in your top five?
I like Terrence Crawford, but Terrence Crawford is more current. Because if you asking me of just name five of them, shit, I'm putting them old cats in there before that. You know what I
I
mean? Because
like
the
Terrence
motherfuckers can
Crawford.
fight. I like TC, I like Terrence Crawford, but over Tommy Hearns, hell no. Yeah, she checking me, man. She talking about some. Somebody said Julian Jackson. The Hawk. Yeah, Jackson, Dynamite Power. I remember his fights against McClellan. You know what I mean? Um, the Terry Norris fight. You know, I remember a lot of his fights, man. The Harold Graham knockout, which was wow. Um, yeah, Duran and Sweepy. Yeah, so it's hard, man. It's hard to just put it to five, y'all. It's hard, but Tommy Hearn's probably one of my favorite, man.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love it, man. Tommy Hearn's probably my favorite, man.
I like when he beat up Martin.
I like Tommy Hearns, man. Benjamin Berger says, big up Mr. Rock today too. Appreciate that, bro. Tough Music says, Michael second to none. Second to none was good too. Hey man, the size differential between Michael Nunn and nah, I can see the dude's face, and he was a great welterweight. Damn, this is gonna piss me off. Hate when the name slipped me like that, man. Marlon Starling. When he fought Marlon Starling, the size differential was crazy. I cannot believe Michael Nunn just decided to fight the way he fought against Starling and the fight against Barkley. That's more, I can see why he did that with Barkley. But against Starling, he should have tried to walk him down, man. And Michael Nunn was a really good fighter, man. You know what I mean? But he should have tried to walk down Marlon Starling. Maybe it was easier said than done. Starling was a really good welterweight, man. But come on, man. Can't let Marlon Starling walk you down, bro. And no disrespect to the great Marlon Starling, but come on. Michael Nunn was a full blown, full fledged middleweight. Let me see here. Uh Hold on, so I missed some. Let me see. I missed some. I missed some. They go back up. And I said this wasn't gonna be long, and we're an hour and 37 minutes in. Um, Let me see here. I'm gonna get back down to that, but I see some okay, Daniel Callis says, apart from Joshua, who do you think is the most likely person to KO Wilder? For some reason, I could see Usyk KOing Wilder, although I think the fight would be 50-50. That's interesting you say that, man, that you think he KOs Wilder. I don't see him KOing Wilder, but what I'm thinking is you probably see Wilder. Actually, I don't know what you see on that one, bro. But you can explain it though. But I don't see Usyk doing it. Uh, Usyk has good movement. He fought super heavyweights in the World Series of Boxing. Uh, you know, I don't see Usyk doing it, but maybe a pressure fighter. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody can put pressure on him and then land something over the top and catch him. Anybody could have a chance to knock him out. You dig what I'm saying? Maybe one of these young cats that's coming up, maybe they get a title shot, could possibly catch him. With the heavyweights, man, it's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say. Um, Luis Ortiz, you know what I mean? In a rematch, possibly could catch Wilder. Shit, he showed that he can hurt him. You dig what I'm saying? So, but it's really hard to say because it could be anybody on any given night. And I know you're asking me who's most likely, but it's kind of hard to say, man. Um, Let me see. AZ says, I hope WBC orders final eliminator, White versus Ortiz. I would love that. D. Obenuli says, Frazier stayed away from a lot of the top names in his era. Hmm. You think so? Who in particular are you talking about? Because I know Ken Norton, from what I heard when I read Joe Frazier's autobiography. When I read that, I think it's called Smoking Joe. I forget the name of it. But when I read that, from what he said in that book, I wish I could reference the book, man. But he said that he used to give Ken Norton the blues in sparring. I know it's sparring, but he said he used to just whoop him up. All right. He fought Big George. He fought Ali. To me, he fought. I mean, you know, like Jimmy Young. He could have fought him. Guys like that. But shit, he fought Corey. He fought. I don't think he was ducking people, man. I don't think Joe was ducking people. I know Holmes came late in the decade. You know what I mean? So we talking about just like towards the late 70s. Yeah, okay. But I thought he fought who he was supposed to fight. I know Foster tried to step up and give him a run. Bob Foster was a great light heavyweight, man. He tried to, try his hand with Ali, tried his hand with Frazier. He actually did beat a couple heavyweights, but none of the top guys though. Um, who do you think he should have fought? Let's just put it that way. Who do you think Frazier should have fought that you feel as if he stayed away from? Um, I know he could have fought Lyle, and he could have fought some other guys. Now, you know what I mean. So that's what made Ali so great because he fought everybody, pretty much, pretty much. That's why Ali was so great to me, man. There was no well, Ali could have fought this guy. He fought them all two, three times if he had to. You know what I'm saying? Count Drago says Tony versus Bird at heavyweight should have happened. Yes, it should have. Yep, I remember around that time period, like that middle-ish 2000 to like 2000, yeah, like that 2004, 2005, 2006-ish time period. Yeah, that should have happened. I thought Roy Jones and Chris Bird should have happened too. Um, I thought Roy Jones and James Toney could have had a rematch at heavyweight too, and I thought JT would have beat him. Um, Main event Mark says yes, he's up there for me too. Tommy Hearns. BC says uh, it was old talk from the past on the message board before the YouTube era, so those old haters are out there. Burt Sugar type. Okay, all right. So it wasn't the uploader who I thought. See, I'm glad I ain't said that dude's name. Um, it is what it is. Let me see here. Um, okay, my man James Coleman brought up Julian Jackson. AZ says, "How your wife is checking." Yeah, man. My wife has watched so much boxing, man. It's crazy. Over the last 20 years? Over the last 20 years, man. Watched a lot of fights in her day. D. Newley says, "What do you think about Dwyer saying about 5 years ago that Hopkins had the style to beat Vlad if he moved up?" Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, let me take out the fact that Hopkins was a middleweight and light heavyweight. Let me take that out because I don't because you said that the OG Dwyer said styles. Yeah, that style, but B Hop style, because he can get rough with you, he can make you miss. And to me, if Vladimir is if you put these guys the same height or same division, something like that. Now, okay, wait. Are you saying that he said now did the wire say that? Because remember, Hopkins entertained the thought of fighting at heavyweight. Remember when he was saying fighting David Hay? But you said this was 5 years ago. But I remember when Hopkins was saying something about David Hay, and I was like, no, B Hop, don't do it. 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 But this was crazy. I'll get back to this. But the way they had Tyson and Lewis face off with that security in between them, going down the middle of the ring. But now, did he say that Hopkins can go up to heavyweight and possibly beat him, or just a heavyweight with Bernard Hopkins' style could have beat Vladimir Klitschko? Hopkins moving up to do it? No, it wouldn't have happened. But somebody with that type of style that had his chin that can, implement that type of stuff. And to me, B Hop was good at, okay, taking away your strength. You dig what I'm saying? B Hop was very good at taking away your strength. Yes, he would add some dirtiness in there, some little crafty, savvy things to rough you up. But I think that style could have beat somebody like Vladimir, because Vladimir wouldn't be a high volume puncher. He likes to pick and choose when he wants to throw. I think somebody with that mindset of a B Hop and his style can take that away. Now, could B Hop have done it? No, he would have got knocked out. All right, you guys naming fighters you like, non-heavyweights. I see okay, Benjamin Berger was good. YouTube algorithm says mine is Sweet Pea, Hearns, Duran, Terry Norris, and Michael Nunn. Great fighters, man. AZ says Ray Leonard. Rory Tabori says Duran and Sweet Pea. Tough Music says Aaron Pryor. Okay. Let me see here. James Coleman says Tony did that boy bad though. Yeah, Michael Nunn. And Nunn was he knocked out Michael Nunn in Nunn's hometown in Iowa. Yeah, caught up to him. Nunn, I thought Nunn was getting the early rounds, and then Tony had that dog in him, man. Got him out of there. Um, Benjamin Berger says Tommy Hearns would beat Floyd Mayweather easy. I would favor Tommy Hearns in that fight. I know a lot of people think Floyd would have had the defense to take away Tommy Hearns' right hand, but that's one thing about Tommy. It wasn't just about his right hand. It was dynamite. That man had a jab. Now we're asking Floyd to do a lot. It's one thing to take away the right hand, but then you're asking him to take away the jab, the good boxing ability, find a way to get around this distance to try to get to Tommy Hearns laying his shots. And Floyd had great reflexes, but to me, you're asking a lot. I just think that's asking a lot from Floyd, man. And if you happen to get hit, stay upright as well, that's asking a lot. And what you're asking Tommy Hearns to do is not be countered all night and be able to be ready for these quick pot shots that Floyd likes to do. And he had fought somebody similar. Uh, I don't know, Ray Leonard. Some similarities with Ray and Floyd, especially outside the ring, the way they handled their business and the way they used to pick their fights. But to me, you're asking a lot for Mayweather, man, in that type of fight. Um, yes, Johnny Payne. He says, y'all. He said, hit that like button. Y'all show support. What's up to Johnny Payne? Count Drago says Ron Lau versus Ray Mercer. Yes, please. Man, that's a good one, man. That's a good one. I'm gonna go around Lau by decision. And then it's like, are they fighting a 15 rounder or you want a 12 rounder? But I'm gonna go Ronnie Lau, man. Both tough, both gritty. I'll probably edge the power to Ray slightly, but grit, toughness, determination. I'm going Ron Lau, because who was that bothered Ray Mercer, man? And Mercer allegedly was telling him in the ring to just fall down or something. Uh, it was the man. I hate when these names slip me like this, man. And I know who he is because he fought Mike Tyson. It was the one. It was the man. What's this? I forget his name. It's the one where Mike Tyson ended the fight. Was like I was trying to uppercut him and push his nose bone into his brain. Ferguson, right? Yeah, it was Jesse Ferguson that was outworking my man Ron Lau. And Lau had his losses as well late in his career when he got blown out by Cooney. You know what I mean? But I will go Ron Lau in that fight because I don't see him breaking down mentally at all. If anything, he'll just get beat because he got beat. Whereas Ray, even though he's tough and he's gritty, any type of mental lapse against Ron Lau, Lau will take advantage of that. Tef Music says Floyd Mayweather beats Tommy Hearns. Okay, a lot of people will agree with you too, but I
I don't
don't.
agree with that.
You don't agree? I think
No, I don't agree with that.
I think Hearns beats him too. Trill Scott Aaron says B Hop is underrated, but I would prefer to watch Roy Jones, Tommy Hearns, Gerald McClellan, James Toney, Aaron Pryor, or Sugar Ray Leonard. Can't complain at all. Dio Bernoulli says that range would be a problem for Floyd. I agree. Roy Tapori says Herkovic in 2 years would be most likely to KO Wilder out of heavyweights right now, stylistically.
Guess who runs out?
All right, who's all
Everybody's up. The boys are downstairs, Michaela's upstairs, and we're gonna just come with me.
All right. Az says Wilder has Ortiz number. Got interested in that rematch. Same result, but quicker. Hold on. Wilder has Ortiz number. Not okay. All right. Possibly because sometimes with fights like that, the guy that got the knockout victory, sit. The guy that got the knockout victory, he probably knows how to do a lot quicker going into the rematch. But that doesn't always pan out like that because I've seen I'm watching Lennox Lewis and all right, and he knocked the hell out of Sean Rockman the second time around. All right. Um, let me see here. Az says Usyk can school Wilder, but I'm not so sure about KO. Hmm. If guys like Spilka, Gerald Washington, and all these other guys who I think won some rounds against Wilder can also do it and be up and win multiple rounds, I think Usyk can also do it as well. Can he hold up though? Can he do it for 12 straight rounds? I don't know. Cause once that right hand lands, it's like, man, once that right hand land, bro. And I know if anybody get caught, anything can happen. But especially when it's Deontay Wilder, especially when it's him with the right hand, I don't know, man. Dudes end up their body does weird things. And I know Dubois was able to take it and Stavern in that first fight and things of that nature. But usually though, when that right hand land, you seen Stavern in that second fight. Usually when that right hand land, people their bodies start to do weird things. Let me see here. Chris 1328 says any heavyweights from back in the day remind you of Ortiz. Hmm. Well, he's a southpaw. Let me see. I got to think on that one, bro. Luis Ortiz, power counter puncher. Not really a back foot guy. Can chop you up. He will go backwards, but he'll chop you up if you come forward. He's not really a dancer. I got to think about that one, bro. I'm trying to think like Ortiz, or similar to Ortiz. That's a good one, man. I have to really sit down and think. Unless you guys throw me some names or something, then I'll probably say okay, but I can't think top of my head right now about it. James Coleman says that Frazier should have fought Ernie Shavers. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Now I think about it, there are some names out there. You know what I mean? It's like a Shavers, like I said, Lyle and Jimmy Young and guys like that. But he did beat Ellis. He did beat Ali. You know what I mean? He has did beat Quarry. Did beat what was the guy? Was the white guy from Europe? He was the best European guy at the time. Man, I hate when I see these names slip, man. Starts with a B. What is that dude's name? Somebody leave that in the comment section real quick. BC, I know you know Count Drago. What one of y'all cats? Diablo Newly. I know somebody knows what I'm talking about. Um, his name starts with a B, man. It's from the UK. Bugner, yeah. He fought Bugner. I think I did a post fight breakdown of that one too. Oh, let me see here. All right, let me. I'm gonna go with Archie Moore YouTube algorithm. Go with Archie Moore on that one. And Bob's one of the best to ever do it, but boy, Archie Moore, the old mongoose. AZ says, "Have you seen that new Cuban heavyweight Sanchez? He looks like a cruiserweight to me." Nope, I haven't seen him yet. Um, wow. Vinyl Pugilist says Eddie Chambers just tweeted that he's ready for a comeback at heavyweight. It's gonna be an uphill battle, man. It's gonna be an uphill battle for Eddie. I'm not sure what he sees in this new crop of guys, but um, I don't know what he sees. I know he sees confidence in himself to come back, but I don't know where he sees where he fits in with these with the guys right now and with the crop that's coming up. So, but we'll see. Um, let me see. All right, let me see. Okay, Daniel Calisi explains himself. First, let me before I get to that. BC says Ortiz is about the same age as Big. He says Ortiz is about the same. Oh, same size. I thought. I'm just thinking of stuff. I thought you were gonna say age, but he says Ortiz is about the same size as Big George Foreman. Both about 6'3", 6'4" ish. Um, yeah, Ortiz weighed about 240. Big George in his prime was what 225. When he came back later in his career, he was about 250, something like that. Yeah, but I think Big George is way stronger, man. He's just one of the strongest boxers I've ever seen. Man, there was a picture of Big George from back in the 70s. From back in the, what the hell is this? From back in the 70s. And this motherfucker had like a, I don't know if it was a fucking cow, or it probably wasn't a cow, but like a baby goat or some shit. It was something he had it across his shoulders. Man, that was a strong country, strong ass dude, man. Some of the biggest forearms I've ever seen, big ass fists. Like Big George was a big, brute, country, natural, strong dude, man. But he fights. Somebody says, Ted Music says Ortiz fights nothing like George Foreman. I don't think they fight alike. Let me see here. AZ says Ortiz, okay. Or AZ says Ortiz same size as Usyk too. As far as like height, okay, so Daniel Callis says the reason I Usyk like Ortiz did, but with more stamina to keep it up over a long time. See, I that is more just throwing, trying to pepper Wilder. Ortiz got thud behind them punches, bro. I do agree that you get hurt with the C, so maybe in the midst of them combinations, he lands one. But Usyk isn't the type of guy that I've seen when I study him. He's the type of guy that I wish I was on my bag. He isn't the type of guy that when he's throwing his combinations. So he's throwing, and then boom, he places one, and then throw. So throw a left hook, throw overhand right, but he's kind of just throwing it with speed, and then place a hard shot. He don't he don't place hard shots in the middle of his combos like that I can remember. He's more of like he's throwing everything at one speed and one pace, which has worked for him. Uh, Whereas Ortiz can kind of lull you to sleep. He'll jab it, and then boom out of nowhere with something. You know what I mean? And I think he's the heavier puncher. Uh, I don't, I don't see Usyk KOing Wilder. So I disagree with you on that one, bro. But you know what I mean? That's your opinion. So BC laughs said he says, laugh out loud, please. Daniel Collins says, I see Wilder getting taken out with combos rather than one hits, but that's just me. One king, one way to a Tyson. Whew. I've talked about this one before. I'm gonna go with Iron Mike. Um, but if Mike was to get into some type of continuity of wanting to trade and exchange with Tua, he could see his ass sitting on the ground. But I'm gonna go with Mike because his chin is proven, just like Tua's chin was proven against Lennox Lewis. Lennox was landing some good shots on him. the Ika Buche fight, which is a classic. Um, but Mike had a slugfest with a heavy-handed guy in Razor Ruddock 2 times. You know what I mean? I think Mike just a quicker puncher. But if you're talking about like the 96, 97 Mike, shit, man, fucking friends, both of us have some success, man. I mean, ugh. I would go with Mike 'cause I think he's just the quicker of the two. I think he's just a quicker puncher. Tua's his size, you know what I mean? Um, he's not going to be out there trying to out jab and move and frustrate Mike. He's going to come to bang. And I would just ride with Mike though. I would ride with Mike. I think just the quicker of the two, which means his punch is going to get there faster. But if Mike opens up to just, hey, let's have a slugfest, anything could happen. But I would roll with Mike based on the quicker hands, good chin as well. And even though I know he got stopped against Holyfield, um, but a fight like that I think plays into Mike's hands. You know what I mean? I don't see Tua in there trying to frustrate him. Um, Daniel Callis says, my opinion. Yep, you're entitled to your opinion. I just disagree with it, but YouTube algorithm says, who are your top five pound for pound of all time and why? Well, I don't do, and I've said this before, bro. All my favorite fighters of all time, pound for pound or whatever, it doesn't matter with that, are all heavyweights. I'm extremely biased, man. So yes, I know there's a guy named Ray Robinson. I do know there's a guy named Roberto Duran, and I'm being sarcastic, but yes, I do know about those guys, great fighters, Sam Langford, and what I mean, Jack Johnson. Well, he's a heavyweight, but just some of the great fighters of the past, man. Um, the last two heavyweights, Vitaly Klitschko was another guy who I have a lot of respect for. I think he's very. I think he's a better fighter than his brother. I think his brother just has more accomplishments than him. But you know what I mean? But mines are all heavyweights. And that's no disrespect to, like I said, Sam Langford and Ray Robinson and Henry Armstrong and even the guys of today, the Floyd Mayweathers and guys like that, man. That's no disrespect to none of the greats, the Willie Peps of the world and guys like that. And I can keep throwing names out, but no matter what name you throw out, it's all heavyweights. Because the way I look at shit is like this. Yes, there's weight classes for a reason. Oh man, I hate watching this. Lennox whooped his ass, man. And when I say I hate watching it, because during this fight, I was the only person in the fight party that was saying Lennox is going to win because we know Lennox is going to win. But everybody was going off to just the preconceived. Look at Holyfield's in the. I forgot Holyfield was in attendance, but everybody's going off the preconceived notion that, well, if Rockman was able to land that right hand, what you think what's going to happen when Mike landed? And I'm like, that sounds cute. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. The way I look at it when people say the pound the best, you know what I mean? To me, man, and I know there's weight classes, and I understand that. But I look at it like if Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, all Ali, if they're all in one room and you got Sweet Pea in there and you know what I mean, Ray Robinson, and you think Ray Robinson and Sweet Pea and guy like that gonna be the one walking out the door at the end? No. Again, I know there's weight classes, so I'm not advocating for fucking Deontay Wilder to fight Manny Pacquiao right now. But I just look at uh I look at it like if we need a motherfucker to represent us to go fight the boogeyman, the monster, whoever this monster is, whether it's a motherfucking alien or whatever, you gonna pick the heavyweight champ. You ain't gonna say, well, I'm gonna get Floyd because his shoulder roll. No, you gonna pick the champ. You gonna pick the heavyweight champ. You know what I mean? Uh if the heavyweight champ walk in the door with the middleweight champ and the welterweight champ and the lightweight champ, and they say, "Hey, champ," who you think they were going to be talking about? It's all heavyweights to me. I know that was a long ass answer, but shit, tell me, shit, who are your pound for pound top five? You let me know, man. That's just me. Uh, let me see here. Daniel Callis says, can't argue with that analysis, Mr. Boxing. Well, hey man, I'm glad that you can at least view it my way. You don't have to agree, but you know what I mean. Happy that you're able to step out the box a little bit and just see it from my view as well. Az says Washington is a football player who can box. To be honest, he started boxing at the age of 30. Okay, I see you chopping up with somebody about Gerald Washington. Damn, he was whooping Mike's ass, man. Benjamin Berger says Joe Joyce style looks like Foreman in the 70s. Yeah, come forward, but but George would pause a little bit and try to pick you off with stuff. George would throw a little stuff in there too. Ah, man, I don't like watching this one, man. Damn. Speaking of this type shit, man, and I see, I'm gonna get to I see blood since something about Sonny. Listen, uh, man, it took me like damn near 20 years to watch Tyson versus Douglas, y'all. To watch the rematch of it, it took me a long time. That VHS tape collected so much dust. I would not watch that motherfucker again, man. Lennox was a bad motherfucker though, man. You can't knock Lennox, man. You can't knock Lennox. That uppercut, ugh, shit. Um, Let me see here. Uh, Hell no, he couldn't slip a jab. My dad just texted me. Let me see what my pal's talking about. He says, I wonder if he's watching me. All right. Let me see here. Dio Benuli says Foreman lift Frazier off the ground. Yes, he did, man. Yes, he did. Lift him straight off the ground, then clipped him down on the back of his head. I remember Ali saying that you hit that man in the back of his head. But yeah, man, Big George looked like a real life monster in that fight. And to see him steamroll smoking Joe, see, right now it's easy to look back at it, watch it. Oh, he was bigger. That's why he won. But again, man, you guys got to like either read up on and listen to some of the things that were being said, whether you're reading articles about it or watching old interviews or talk to people that were around at that time, not when they were kids, but when they were grown and they were able to really look at it and think about it. To run through Joe Frazier like that was just mind boggling. It had nothing to do with, well, he's only 5'10" and he's 6'4". It had nothing to do with that. That's smoking Joe Frazier. You know what I mean? The dude with the high motor that chopped people down, beat Ali. You know what I mean? Frazier was the champ. And to see him get destroyed like that, man, that's how I always think the title should change hands. With the challenger destroying the champ. Not destroying to the point where I don't want to see him go home to his family. But that's how you take the title away. Not eking out a points decision. Although if you win by decision, hey, you win by decision. But nah, they need to change hands uh with knockouts. That's how I like it. Now I know it's not going to happen like that all the time. Some people get outboxed for 12 rounds. Um, you know what I mean? But I like when knockouts happen to change over. Cause then you know for a fact, like, okay, his run's over. He got destroyed. You dig what I'm saying? He gonna have to make a massive attempt of a comeback. I'm watching this like I've never seen it before. Man, I know what's gonna happen. Um, Blood said he stepped away with he hope he didn't miss much. Um, Let me see. Cleveland Williams. Speaking of, I even talked about Cleveland Williams, but Cleveland Williams says, "How about the Polish fighter versus Wilder? Taylor made for Wilder's right hand. Saw him fight Gerald Washington in January, and I was pissed at Washington because he couldn't do nothing in that fight." Oh, you talking about Adam Konowski? Man, Lennox about to catch Mike with a vicious uppercut. I'm watching like this. Nah, but you talking about Adam Konowski? Gerald, man, I think Gerald decided to do what he didn't do in the Miller fight, which was stand. He tried to stand his ground against Adam, and I think he was trying to get Adam's respect. I don't know what he was doing, man, but he just fought. He fought contrary to what he how he usually fights, which is moving around, using his jab. Uh, he said that he used to watch tape of guys like Jimmy Young and you know what I mean, fights like that. But yeah, man, he tried to stand his ground with Konowski, man, and that wasn't his fight. I think he was trying to get his respect. That from watching the fight, it looked like he was like, I'm gonna stand my ground. I'm gonna make you respect me, and it just didn't work out, man. It didn't work out. He it didn't work out. Uh, let me see, blood boxing. Okay, and then also hold on, Cleveland Williams. You asked me how about the Polish fighter versus Wilder, and as far as that fight, I don't see. This is why I want to see Wilder in with somebody that's a pressure fighter that's going to throw. Stavern, oh shit, Stavern was a good. I mean, he was a pressure fighter, but the thing about him, he pressured but didn't throw anything. Adam, hit or miss, is going to throw something. What happens if he can get to Wilder's body and break his body up a little bit? How would that play out? Will Wilder start to tire? Well, who knows? You dig what I'm saying? So I think it'd be interesting, and I want to see Wilder in with one of the high level pressure guys, man. That's why I wanted to see him. And when that fight fell apart, the Povetkin thing over the Meldonium, I don't even want to bring that topic up again. Jesus Christ. I think that was worse than I don't know, probably about the same. That whole Povetkin Wilder Meldonium thing is just as bad as the whole Wilder the business turning that, the zone deal, Joshua, who's more popular, all that shit. Shit. Wilder Povetkin was probably just as bad, man. I had people unsubbing from me, and all of a sudden I didn't know boxing no more. You don't know boxing. Damn, man, Lennox is landing some heavy right hands on him. Uh, so yeah, man, I think I would favor Wilder because I think Kanowski is there to be hit. But just because everybody's there to be hit, don't mean they're always going to get knocked out. And if he could put a body attack on Wilder and weaken up them legs and break that rib cage up in that stomach, anything could happen. But that would be a fight I would favor Wilder based on Kanowski is an easy guy to hit. My man Blood Boxing, Retro Boxing Documentary says George said Sonny Liston had the biggest hands he ever saw. That's coming from George. Yes, he did. And George also said, Blood, I do remember hearing that he thought Liston, well, I know he got a lot of his stuff from Liston, just the way, putting on the frown. And he took a lot of things away from Sonny because he used to spar. He was Sonny's sparring partner, which I know you know all this, bro. Uh, But yeah, Sonny Liston was another big ass hands, long ass reach. Like Sonny had a lot going for him, man. Then he ran into that loudmouth from Louisville, Kentucky. He ran into the loudmouth. Benjamin Berger says Joe Joyce style looks like Foreman in the 70s. AZ, okay, I read that one. Okay, let me see. Let me scroll back down. Uh just saw, okay. Count Drago says Errol Spence ranks Ray Leonard as greater welterweight than Mayweather, but he thinks a prime Floyd beats a prime Ray. I disagree. I think it plays out similar to Roy Jones versus prime B Hop. I see Ray beating Floyd. I'll talk about that before too. I see him beating Floyd. Dio Benuli says I still can't watch Tyson Douglas. Ouch. Let me see here. Trill Scott Hero says, question, do you rate Michael Hunter as a legit contender? If so, what is his ideal route to a title? Yes, I do. I know people may look at the size and say no, but that dude has a lot of fight in him. Good amateur. He fought Usyk as hard as he could, man. He lost the fight. There's no moral victories. He's been in a lot of Klitschko camps. Got fighting in his blood. His father was a very entertaining fighter. And you know what I mean? So I think he'll give guys a run for his money. Um, he doesn't seem intimidated by size. With the Usanov, he went in there and whooped the hell out of Usanov, and he beat up Martin Bakole Lunga, who guys who are significantly bigger than him, height and weight. I give him a chance, man. I give him a chance. Riles Clock 222. What's the deal? Ross Clout, you missed a whole bunch of old school talk, man. Uh, retro boxing documentary. Yes, you are right, blood. He says Mathis, which is Buster Mathis Sr., was much bigger than Frazier as well. Yes, he was. He was a big motherfucker. And Mathis Sr. was a really good amateur, really good boxer, had really good outboxing skill, had really good boxing skills. Just his weight, you know what I mean? And he was a big plump motherfucker that knew how to box and move a little bit. But yes, he was much bigger than Frazier as well. You're right, bro. Um, Rob Katudu says no one can potentially beat Wilder except for AJ and Fury, possibly Miller because of his durability. Count Drago says, "Will Hunter versus Povetkin happen?" Yeah, that I did do. Yeah, I did. I do remember that now. Hunter and Povetkin. He says, "I think Hunter can win." Marco Huck gave him all he could handle. Yes, he did. And I thought Huck could have fuck around and edge out the decision. He was throwing his hands. He was landing a lot of straight punches, jab right hands on Povetkin. He was outworking him. Povetkin looked exhausted in that fight. Motherfucking face was red. He was exhausted as hell fighting Huck. Yo, now for those who just joined or but I'm watching Tyson Lewis, and I can remember this fight party, man. One of my this when I was in college playing college ball, and one of my teammates that was at the fight party was like talking about Mike Tyson because they were thought Tyson was gonna win. They're like, man, where's the fire? Where's the fire? Like, the fire in the belly, the rage. I'm like, dude, he's getting it beat out of him. He's getting the shit beat out of him. Coupled with the fact that Mike was on all types of meds and they were trying to uh they were trying to put all these they had all these meds in Mike, man, and he wasn't that savage person, man. He was like, who it was Stacy McKinley that said that. So I'm not making this, was Stacy McKinley said. I think the interview was on True School Sports. Shout out to True School Sports, but he was saying that Mike was on all type of meds. He just wasn't the right. It wasn't Mike. Even if he was the right Mike, I still think Lennox would have beat him when they fought. But yeah, I don't want to. Damn, I don't want a nice Mike Tyson, man. I want a vicious, you know, Mike Tyson in there, not somebody that's nice and domesticated. And hell no, man, he's beating the tar out of Mike Tyson. Um, Roz Claus says Buster Masters was underrated. He was actually a good big man. And speaking of Buster Mathis, his son fought Mike Tyson on free TV on Fox. Y'all remember that? Mike Tyson versus Buster Master Jr. on Fox. Uh, Blood agrees with Rosclot. Main event. Mark says Konowski cuts easy too. Yes, he does. He bleeds in every fight I've seen him in. Uh, even the Lago Kaladze fight. I don't think he bled in the Spilka fight. Yikes. That right hand, and Mike's just out of it, man. He got the as I said, the fight party, the fire beat out of him. He tried to get up though. You know, look at Lennox. No mind test. Lennox used to crack me up, man. Let me see here. Blood says one of these guys going to get stretched in the heavyweight division. I think so too, man. I think an upset is coming, bro. Ross Cloud 22 says, Liston 6'1", 84, 85-inch reach. What the fuck, man? He had a freakishly long reach, man. Freakishly long reach. Good power. Had a chin, big ass. Yes, Ross Cloud ran into that loudmouth from Louisville, Kentucky, man. Man, that loudmouth, light-skinned kid from Louisville, man. Ran into him. Sure did. Miller and Brazil are both live dogs. I believe so as well. I believe so as well. Even though I'm saying Wilder's going to beat him, and I broke it down how I think it'll happen, I still think. I just know somebody's going to get upset, man. I just don't know who. But regardless of that, because you can't count out physicality, man, and how that can wear down on some people sometimes. And if Wilder can, if he's landing that right hand, and for whatever reason, if Brazil's still upright, he can kind of do what Duopa did, but mix in some more offense, and you just never know what can happen in these fights, yo. Uh, Daniel Callis says in a fantasy most against Deontay Wilder. Um, that's a good question, yo. Uh, you know what? I'm not even gonna say like a Big George or some of my favorites and keep using them all the time. I'm gonna go with Vitaly Klitschko. I want to see what that would look like. Both around that same. I could use Linux as well, but I'm gonna go Vitaly because uh Vitaly was one of the first like super, the 6'7", 6'8" dudes that I seen had good movement going backwards. Good right hand, good jab, tough. His damn eye almost fell out his fucking skull when he fought Lennox. Um, I would have loved to seen that one. I would love, and you could fill in the blank with anybody, like Mike Tyson, in his prime, Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, But I would say Vitaly Klitschko just to mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna go with Vitaly Klitschko. Mike got the fight beat out of him. This was almost hard to watch, man. When he was like trying to get shit off Lennox's face, they're standing there. He's like brush shit off Lennox's face. I was like, yeah, this ain't Iron Mike Tyson. This is Tin Mike Tyson, or this is a pop can Mike Tyson, man. And no disrespect to Mike, but Mike Tyson brushing shit off somebody's face that whooped his ass. That sound like Mike Tyson to you? That don't sound like the killer Mike Tyson. That sound like don't sound like Mike, man. But hey, a good ass whooping will soften you up sometimes, man. It'll make you put things in perspective. You know what I mean? Let me see here. Roz Clock 222 says Povetkin too old now. Huck versus Povetkin was a good ass fight. He says I like Wilder versus Riddick. Ooh, yeah, that'd be a good one as well. That'd be a good one as well. Jay Royale says Mr. Boxing today was good, man. What's up, bro? He says who you think wins between Dillian White and Andrew Ruiz? That would be a hell of a fight. Toss up 50-50. 50-50. If Chisora is able to put on pressure like that, and twice, it wasn't just in the one fight, although he did get knocked out in the viciously in the second fight. Ruiz can do it as well. I think he has better defense and quicker hands. Can he hit as hard as Chisora? From the eye test, it seems like it, but you really don't know until you get in there. But I think it's 50-50. No man test, huh? I'm gonna go ahead and watch. My Apple TV is sending it right to what fight they got for me next. I like this setup, man, because it just goes. Because from what I watch, it just knows that because like the algorithm will just throw recommended videos to you, so it knows I like old school boxing. I just let this shit just play. This shit just stays on. I come in out the room. You know what I mean? It'd be the fucking Razor Ruddock versus Bone Crusher Smith fight on, or this fight, or so I like how I got this set up, man. So it's gonna be Holyfield versus Lewis 2. That's what's up next. I've seen this too many times, man. Let me see another one. Bo Holyfield one. White Chisora 2. Holmes Coney. I've seen that a lot. I've seen all these motherfuckers a lot. Let me see here. Tua Lennox. I don't want to watch that one. Louis Bruno. I've seen that too many. I'll go with Louis. I'm gonna go with Bruno McCall. I'll watch that one. Again, I've seen all these motherfuckers. But let me see. Okay, yeah. So Jonathan Root says Lennox Lewis was a strong guy and had a high boxing IQ. Yeah, Lennox, one of the greatest, man. Ross Klotz says, "Yep, Tyson versus yep." Okay, you talking about Mathis Jr. Yep, I remember that. I had got this shit on VHS. Mathis was free. Yep, it was on Fox. I remember Mike Johnson says Ruiz with Skull White. It'd be a good one, man. And I think it's 50-50, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ruiz beat him. Buster Douglas' resume was stacked coming to this fight. He was no bum. I never thought he was a bum, yo. I never thought that. But Mike should have whooped his ass though. But I never thought that. Count Drago says the '80s crop of heavyweights is so underrated. All these guys Mike fought could have been competitive and even won titles in the Ruiz, Bird, Brewster era. You know what? And another thing, man, there's a few guys I wanted to see Mike fight, not of Mike's doing, like he was ducking nobody, because one of the guys I wanted to see him fight lost. And he could have fight Mike had he not been knocked out in one round. He already beat the guy a fight before. You guys probably know who I'm talking about, Tim Witherspoon. I always want to see Tim fight Mike, man, back in the day, but it didn't happen. Tim ended up losing the strap to Bone Crusher Smith. He beat him the first fight, then he got blown out one round. I know what was said. He said his mind wasn't there. Don King was raping him as far as money goes. You know what I mean? So look at Everett Bigfoot Martin getting some airtime. Terry Dunstan, the former cruiserweight champ out there in England, Europe. They were in these camps preparing Bruno. Ever Bigfoot Martin? Hell no. George Francis, Bruno's old trainer. Let me see here. Yeah. So what I was saying about the '80s, you know what I mean? Uh, damn, yeah, I'm all over the place right now because I'm just showing highlights of when Tim Witherspoon knocked out Bruno. Um, Yeah, so like Michael Dokes and some of those guys faded off at the tail end, you know what I mean? Greg Page and all, but all those guys had very quick hands. I always bring up how fast those guys' hands were, man. They were putting punches together in combinations, man, throwing six and sevens and eights, and it was normal. It wasn't like when you saw one of them guys throwing six and sevens combination was like, wow, look at the combination punch. It was like that was just normal. Paid, you know what I mean? That was normal. Guys were very skilled, man. Tyrell Biggs, very skilled guy. Wasn't that Page would be goofing around in the ring a lot, man. Um, let me see here. All right, damn, 2 hours. I don't think I've ever went this long, man. Yes, prone or supine. Yes, that's what I love to say. Either face first, either face first, or just flat on your back, face up. Let me see here. If Wilder and AJ loses, it will change everyone's silly argument. Yep, it sure will. Everything gonna change. I actually brought that up to somebody too. Texting somebody saying if both these motherfuckers lose, man, people gonna be looking stupid as hell. But you know who gonna be around though? The motherfuckers that are just real boxing fans. The people that been here for decades, no matter if their favorite fighter lost or not, they'll still be around. But the people who are on here just, with the fuckery, they'll be gone. They won't have nothing to talk about. They won't have nothing to talk about. But the people that are real boxing fans, and I just want to say just the old heads that been watching for decades, but any of you youngers that's watching it, the people that just love boxing, man, they'll still be here. But people that are like putting their heart and soul and into a fighter or two, not that it's just your favorite fighter, but you're really putting just everything into him. And if he lose, you're gonna be depressed and you know what I mean. You can't eat and shit. You can't get your dick up to give to your girl. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're gonna be they're gonna delete their channels. And I've seen dudes hype up dudes, and I'm not gonna say their names because I don't want to make nobody famous, but I've seen dudes leave YouTube when their favorite fighter lost. I've seen it. I know two dudes in particular right now, and some of you probably know who I'm talking about. I've seen two of them in particular right now. Yep. One dude just took away his whole channel on a guy that wasn't even like all that. You know what I mean? But it is what it is, man. Let me see. Um, okay. Damn, am I this fucking far behind? Nah, okay. Somebody said my wife loves boxing. Yes, she does, man. She's been watching a lot of boxing, man, since she's been with me, or since we've been knowing each other. For the last, what was it 2019? Over the last close to 20 years, man. I'm talking about from the big pay-per-view fights to the fights where you guys be like, who the fuck are these guys? You know what I mean? Let me see here. Main event Mark says I like Konowski. He is humble. His fans are fervent but respectful. He reminds me of a tall Eric Esch, a tall Butterbean. I think he's a lot more skilled than Butterbean, though, man. AZ says, don't remind me. Now, Butterbean was a skilled 4 round fighter for what he was doing, but Andy has quicker hands, better footwork, better punch placement. I think he's more polished. I think he's a better fighter than Esch or Butterbean. AZ says, don't remind me, Ruiz, the quiet man, more like the boring man. Oh, John Ruiz? Yeah, that's when people were saying Charles Barnes the worst or Wilder's the worst. And I know they're just talking shit, but I'm like, wow, people, because I remember when John Ruiz was around, nobody liked his style. Nobody. Now he did what he had to do to retain his title when he had it, but wow. Rouse Clout 22 says Mike would have KO'd Brewster. I think he would have. The opening newly says, I remember Brewster blowing out Galata. Was that on HBO? I think he blew out Galata out HBO. Obviously, the fight with Klitschko. Then he fought Klitschko again. Remember a lot of the Brewster fights when Brewster fought. And I thought Brewster lost to Cali Meehan. Shout out to Cali Meehan. He shows a lot of love to my channel. Uh, I wish nothing but the best for him and his son. His son's a heavy handed prospect, man. Willis Meehan is a heavy handed kid, man. That boy can punch. But I thought Cali beat him that night. Um, but yeah, Brewster was fun to watch. Okay, Mike Johnson says that's cool. Your wife loves boxing. I took my wife to Evander versus Moore 2 fight, lost $1,000. Oh, so you thought Moore was going to unify that night with against Evander, huh? You thought he was going to unify that night, and he was going to get the fight against Lennox, huh? Yeah, man, that's good though, man. That was a good fight. That was a good fight. Moore was having some success early, and then Lennox caught up to him. You know, but yeah, me and my wife went to I don't know if you noticed or not, bro. I don't know if you were sub to me then or not, but me and my wife we traveled out to LA and went to that Wilder Fury fight. Let me see here. We got to see Luis Ortiz that night as well, fight Travis Kaufman. So let me see. Rise Clock 222 says, no lie, even though Wilder is limited in skills, Lewis showed Vitali has a hard time fighting guys his size. Yeah. Then you also say that was the vegan Mike Tyson. Yeah, man, that wasn't the killer Mike Tyson. That was a humble. And again, he just got his ass whooped. But even going into the fight though, he was like, he was too chill. According to Stacey McKinley, he was too chill. And even in training, he kind of fizzed out in training where it was like he just like he was saying it wasn't the Mike. It wasn't Mike. It wasn't Mike. You know what I mean? Okay, Roscott says not Riddick. I mean Razor. Hold on, Razor or Razor Ruddick versus Wilder. Hmm. So to be that left hand that Riddick want to get off versus Wilder right hand. That shit might come down to who land first. Rouse Cloud, I'll bring that up, bro. You said the Cooper versus Michael Moore fight. Post fight, I did a post fight reaction to that fight as well here on YouTube. Go to that playlist. Look at my old school post fight reaction to old school fights. All right, but yeah, I brought that up earlier. Uh, you said Rouse Cloud says that Witherspoon versus Tyson actually would be a good scrap. Witherspoon can box very well. Yes, he could, and sometimes he'll slug with you as well. Uh, Jonathan Roos says Witherspoon versus Gonzalez was a massacre. Witherspoon dominated. Bo? Did he beat Bo and Lynx in the amateur? Because Gonzalez was a really good amateur. And when he got to the pros, it didn't pan out for him. Bo blew him out. Um, there was a fight that I just watched to him not too long ago. Did he got knocked out? Was it against Witherspoon? Was it the Tim fight? I forget, man, because these fights just pop up. Let me see. Roz Class says 80s heavyweight was really good. They all took each other's prime years, truthfully, by all the fighting going on. And coupled with that, they were doing a lot of partying, a lot of coke, a lot of alcohol, a lot of shit. But they still went in there. But again, they got in there with each other though and fought. You dig what I'm saying? So you got to give them props for that. Um, and then somebody just said it. Dio Newly says them 80 heavyweights love cocaine. Tyson Fury would have loved to be in that era. Um, well, yeah, because it wouldn't it wouldn't be well, no, because even in those fights, see, but those guys were willing to tell. Well, Tyson Fury was too, but they'll tell those stories about being on cocaine and all that. Cause I remember when Pinkline Thomas, they were highlighting his use and all that, and I want to say Henry Tillman as well. They were highlighting his use. Like HBO will always highlight these guys' drug use going into the fight. For their little pre-fight dramatized, uh, hyping of the fight, them shows or whatever. But yeah, a lot of guys were doing that, man, back in them days. Tim Witherspoon, there's a lot of them, and they'll admit it to you too. So I'm not dropping dirt on nobody. They all did this shit, but they were really good fighters, though. Regardless of that, though, regardless of that, they're really good fighters. Um, yeah, bro. And Roz Cloud, you know exactly if Roz Cloud knows exactly who I'm talking about. Who left YouTube when Manny was left face first? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Dio Manuli says, "Imagine leaving YouTube because someone lost a fight." But it happens though, man. It happens. That's why when I listen to some people, man, on here, it's cool to have a boxing opinion, but sometimes you can just listen to somebody, just peep it out and listen, like, man, this motherfucker don't mean what he talking about, man. I can just tell he don't mean what he talking about. Soon as dude lose, he gonna be gone. And that's what happens. They come off like they mean what they're talking about with facts and shit like that. But when you really listen and really just watch what you can just tell, man. They fade away like a fire. You dig what I'm saying? Ross Clot 222 says, my wife too loves boxing because of me. We both listen to boxing talk together also. Yeah. Um, let me see here. Count Drago says Floyd Patterson versus Marciano. Did Marciano retire too soon? Did Patterson wait him out? Um, I think Marcy. See, because I always like for the title to get changed over when somebody loses. Again, now these fighters may look at me and say, "Who the hell are you to tell me to retire? After, I have to get beat to retire." But I like it like that. So there's no now. Props to Lennox. Props to Marciano leaving the way they left. All right, nothing but respect for those guys. But it just give you that feel like, damn, no man, like what I mean. The titles really didn't change over the way we wanted to change over, though. You get what I'm saying? It's like it's just I don't know. I like for the change over. I like for the era and the title to change over because there was a new kid on the block. He got you out of there. Don't take it away from your career. Don't mean you wasn't a great fighter. All good things come to an end, baby. You know what I mean? So I like to see it like that. I prefer to see it like that. You dig what I'm saying? Not so much that I'm wishing on nobody's downfall, but no. After a great long run, usually you get your ass whooped at the end. You know what I mean? But I think he retired too soon. I think Rocky still has some good fights left in him, man. Corey Lee Boxing says Dubois versus Joyce, but what's the realism of that happening? I don't know, bro. I have no idea. I mean, it looks good, right? The title looked good. It jumped out at you. That's how it was me when I seen on the article. I'm like, whoa, shit! I gotta do a video on this. But I don't know. I don't know how real it is. I think Joyce is more trying to get somebody to get him closer to a title shot, and him beating Daniel Dubois does not get him closer to a title shot. It'd be good. It'd be great for us to watch as the fans, but I don't see a win over Dubois means title shot. You dig what I'm saying? I don't see it like that. He'll win the what title's on the line? The British heavyweight title that's on the line. You dig what I'm saying? But Glass Chin Patterson. Um, yeah, Marciano's more of a fighter. Patterson, he ran into a buzzsaw when he fought Liston, man. But he did show that he can get his ass whooped and bounce back. Shit, he fought Johansson 3 times. You dig what I'm saying? Um, Overmatched when he fought guys, like Ali and shit. But um, I will favor Marciano in that fight. Would have been a good style matchup though, because Marciano likes to crouch down a little bit, come over with the big right hand. Floyd like the peekaboo style. He likes to leap with left hooks, leaping left hooks out of the peekaboo style. So um, I probably would have favored Rocky based on styles and based on what was that? What was that? He gonna say the ground. All right. Let me see this. Turn this shit down. Let me see here. Yeah, Roz Clyde agrees. He thinks Marciano dogs Patterson, in my opinion, but Rocky getting dropped once, possibly by a left hook. Corey Lee boxing with another banger. What's up, Corey, man? Um, he also says Tyson Fury was Tom Schwartz next. What it's looking like. I had Tom Schwartz on my prospect list. That's what's up, bro. What do you think about the fight? Well, I know you probably do a video. I haven't seen anybody else's video, so I'm probably get a little bit of sleep here, then wake up, probably catch a few tournament games, get my boxing fix. I'm gonna jump off here in a minute, man. Let me just see what else. Actually, I'm not gonna see what else because y'all gonna ask me something. I'm gonna fucking talk about it for 40 minutes. Hey, I appreciate y'all showing up, man. Appreciate the comments. Uh, Roscoe says he watched Mercer and Lewis 10 times, and I edged it to Lewis, but slightly. That was a really good, tough fight. All right, y'all. I appreciate y'all showing up, man. I'm gonna jump up off of here before I end up talking for another 2 fucking